A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Jerry of the Circus. Jerry of the Circus.
All right, Rags, I see him. Uncle Dan.
Oh, there you are, Jerry.
Hey, did you have breakfast yet?
Long ago, Jerry. I guess I was about the first one to get in the mess stop this morning.
Oh, I was just going to say the flag's down, and if you didn't eat yet, you're out of luck until lunchtime.
Kind of looking out for your old uncle, huh? Jerry?
Well, I just didn't want to see you go hungry.
Oh, I see.
Uncle Dan.
Yes?
Did you figure out something about those passes? I mean, so they won't take up all the seats and keep the cash customers out?
Yes, I did, Jerry. I figured out a little plan that might work.
Well, what is it?
Well, let's sit down on the steps here, Jerry.
All right. Now what?
He's trying to say something, all right.
He's begging, that's what he's doing.
That's all?
Sure. He wants to go over to the menagerie. Don't you, Ray? Well, all right. Go ahead. But don't you go near the mess tent and bother Leo and beg for a bone.
Let him go.
Now, what were you going to say?
Oh, yes. About the little plan I have for the free tickets.
Yeah.
Well, I had a talk with Jack Hastings, and he told me that he'd been trying for a long time to figure out a better way to work out the passes for window advertising.
Funny he couldn't think of something. Jack's pretty smart.
No, it's a big problem, Jerry. The circus has to have advertising so folks will know when and where we play in each town.
Sure, I know that.
And it's only fair that we give out free tickets to the people that let us put those cards in their store windows.
But it doesn't seem right that the people with the passes get in and take up all the seats, and then Mr. Randall loses money by having to turn down the cash customers.
That's why it's a big problem.
So what's your plan?
Well, I told Jack that I thought it'd be a good idea to set aside one or two sections of seats for the passes alone.
Well, that's a good idea.
Now, wait. And then tell the holders of the passes that they have to be in by 8 o'clock for the night shows and by 2 o'clock for the matinees.
Maybe I don't understand, but, well, I don't see how that's going to help.
Look, Jerry, that way...
Oh, you don't have to explain it to me. If you say it'll work, I suppose it will. At least I hope so.
Well, it's not the best plan on earth, but it's worth trying.
I'll keep my fingers crossed for you.
Well, now, Jerry, that's nice of you. It won't be too much trouble, will it?
No, quit kidding me.
You're a great boy, Jerry.
Hey, look it.
What, Jerry?
There goes Boris Russoff.
The glum Russian they're beginning to call him.
Uh-huh. He can't seem to get over the way they played the joke on him.
He got pretty mad about it, all right.
And he says he won't give up until he finds out who did it. He said, anyone who thinks they can make a monkey of the great Boris has got to get up early in the morning, and don't forget that either. I can just imagine how mad he got when he finally realized it was all a joke.
It sure must have looked funny in those little boys' clothes out in front of the main gate when the show let out.
I'll say. Imagine his embarrassment.
Yeah, what's so funny? Am I missing out on something?
Good morning, Mr. Randall.
Morning, sir. Yeah, you two seem to be in fine spirits this morning. Couldn't be better.
Uncle Dan just figured out something that's going to save you money.
Oh, well, that's fine. How about it, Dan? Am I going to have to buy you that new suit of clothes? Don't know, Mr. Randall. You might. What's it all about? Oh, just a little something I've worked out with Jack Hastings. Oh, well, is it a secret? No, but let's give it a try first. I'll tell you what I wish you'd do, though. Yeah? I wish you'd check your receipts tonight and compare them with last night's. Well, I always do that. Yeah, but notice the difference. Oh, you think maybe we're going to take in more money? I hope so. Yeah, so do I. And whatever you're doing, Dan, I hope it works. Where's Rags, Jerry?
Oh, he's gone over to the menagerie to see Kelly. He likes to be around the animals.
Oh. Say, by the way, how's that new getting along? What's her name? Maud.
Oh, she's all right now.
Oh, she and the cat still friends?
The best pals in the menagerie.
Well, that's an odd friendship, that one. A cat and a new friend? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it beats all some of these animal friendships.
You see, Rags found a sick cat a couple of weeks ago, and when I took it over to the menagerie, the new spotted it and brightened right up. I don't get you, Jerry. Well, Dan, the new had just recently lost her mate and was grieving. And somehow, when she heard the cat wailing, I guess she figured her own troubles weren't as bad as the cat's, and they became friends. Did you ever hear of anything like that?
Well, to be truthful, Jerry, I've heard of stranger things than that. Not only heard of them, but seen them with my own eyes out in the jungle.
Well, what, for instance?
What would you say about a friendship between a chimpanzee and a leopard?
Really?
Well, that's a new one on me, Dan. I was responsible for that get-together.
How?
Well, you can believe it or not, but we trapped the leopard, and before getting him out of the trap and into the cage, we wanted to take some pictures.
Yeah?
Well, sir, we went back to camp to get the camera equipment, and when we returned, we heard some rustling, so we closed in very quietly. Now, wait a minute. Is this on the level, Dan? It sure is, Mr. Randall.
Well, then what happened?
We found a big chimpanzee actually helping that big leopard out of the pit.
No fooling.
That's exactly what happened. Did the chimp get the leopard out? Yes, he did. And then he examined the leopard to see if he was hurt. That leopard seemed to know the chimp was trying to help him. I can't see why you'd let a good catch like a leopard get away so easy. Well, I tell you, we figured the incident so rare that we thought pictures of it would be more valuable than the catch itself.
Well, did you get some good pictures?
You bet we did.
I'd sure like to see them.
So would I, Jerry.
What do you mean?
Well, unfortunately, while we were away from our base camp for a few days, a band of natives overpowered our guards and made off with the pictures. Not only the pictures, but several weeks' food supply, too. They practically cleaned us out. Those are some of the chances you take, Yep. You never know when some band of natives are going to swoop down and help themselves to everything that takes their fancy.
Hey, listen.
Oh, what's up, Jerry?
Here, Rags, come on.
Here he comes, Jerry.
Hey, what's the matter, fella?
Oh, wait a minute, I see. It's Tony, the big fat Italian clown. And it looks like he's on the warpath. Yeah, here I am, Tony.
He's looking everywhere.
Over here, Tony.
I'm so glad to see you.
Yeah.
Lots of trouble, Mr. Randall. Lots of trouble.
Hey, now don't laugh, Jerry. He's really upset about something.
Oh, it's too bad. No more Tony, no Monk, no Tony, no Hector. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. Randall.
Now, wait a minute. What's all this? Now, take it easy now, Tony. What are you trying to tell me?
Well, what I'm trying to tell you is I'm no good without the monk. Mio bambino, she's gone.
Now, wait a minute. You're trying to tell me you lost your monkey?
No. I'm no lose. I'm nowhere here.
Well, then go and get him.
Well, I'm no gotta get him. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Listen. Now, calm down and tell me what happened.
Well, I'm going to start to the front,
what's that?
He means he's going to start at the beginning.
That's all right.
All right, Tony. That's a good idea. All right, let's have your story now.
Oh, she's no story. She's the truth. I'm telling the truth.
All right, but go ahead.
Well, I'm a like my monk.
Yeah.
I'm a loving him. I'm a caress him.
Yes, I know.
I'm always think of my monk. I'm a good to him, Mr. Randall. My monkey, he's just like my brother.
Jerry. Well, all right, come to the point. Come on, come to the point, Tony. What are you trying to tell me?
Well, I'm telling you, I started to front.
Yes.
Well, all right. I'm a like my monkey so much, I'm taking him to the zoo this morning.
To the zoo? What for?
What for? So we can see his relations, the other monkeys in the cages.
Do you get that, Dan? Pretty good, I'd say. Go ahead, Tony.
Well, first I tried to go in the street car, but they no let me come on with my monk. 3 or 4 cars I tried. The conductor, she just say, no.
Of course they won't let you on the streetcars with a monkey. I can't even get on one with rags.
Well, my monkeys are better than a dog.
Oh, yeah, I don't know about that.
Now, Jerry, well, go ahead, Tony. So, what did you do?
Well, I'm a walker to the zoo. I'm a walk all the way with my little bambino.
Well, it's quite a walk, Tony.
Oh, you tell me. I'm tired. But my monkey, I'm thinking of him.
Yeah?
How he like to see the other monkey.
Yeah, well, where is he now?
My monkey?
Yeah, of course. Where is he?
Oh, he's locked up.
Locked up?
Yes, see. He's in a big monkey cage in the zoo. I tell you just how I happened.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm a holding him so he's a look at the monk. Then the keepers are coming to feed.
Yeah, the keeper came to feed the other monkeys.
Yes, that's all right.
Yeah, so?
So, my bambino, he see the man open the door and put lots of banana inside. Well, my bambino, he wants a banana. So he's a jump out of my arm and he's a run right inside the cage.
He ran right through the open door and into the big monkey cage?
That's all right. He's hungry for the banana.
Well, why didn't you go in after him? Get him out.
Why? Why? You asking me why? Because he's an Olatin. He's a man, the keeper. He's an Olatin.
Oh, wait a minute. He saw your monkey go in, didn't he?
Shush, he's a see. You know my monkey sees inside.
Well, I don't see why he wouldn't let you go and get him.
Well, he's a stay. How I know my monk? Maybe I take the wrong one.
Well, didn't you have the costume on your monkey, Tony?
No, I'm a no put his clothes on.
Oh, then no wonder. The man was right. How could you tell your monkey from all the rest?
How? Well, Tony, he don't know which one.
But you couldn't convince the keeper, is that it?
Well, that's all right, I could.
The man ought to know you wouldn't want any other monkey than your own.
Well, I'm going to say that, too. I'm going to tell him my monk, he's a trained. I'm going to do tricks to show him I've got the right to want.
And he wouldn't let you, huh?
No, he's telling me to go away, beat it, he said.
Well, that's bad, Tony.
Tony knows it's bad. Me a bambino, I'm a lover, my monk.
Oh, what about the matinee? How are you going to do your act without your monkey?
It's just what's the matter.
Well, what do you suggest he does, Dan? Looks bad, doesn't it?
There must be something or some way to get the monkey back.
Oh, I'm a terror down the cage. I'm going to get to my monk. I'm going to tell you I get to the monk.
Now, Tony, you won't have to go to that extreme.
Say, Mr. Randall, how about calling the zoo and explaining the whole thing to whoever's in charge?
Well, they'd most likely have the same answer the keeper had. They'll want the proper identification before they let a monkey out of the cage. Those little critters all look alike, you know.
No monkey, no show.
We'll find a way of getting your monkey back before matinee.
Well, we'll have to.
For 6 long years, I'm a teacher my monk tricks. I'm a work with my monkey for you. How long, Mr.
Well,
Randall?
let's see. You've been with me, I believe this is the 4th season, Tony.
That's all right. 4 years I'm going to do my monkey. Oh, I'm feeling so bad.
Ah, you think you would?
Oh, maybe my monkeys will get hurt in the bigger cage.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about that, Tony. He can take care of himself all right. He's a whole lot smarter than those cage monkeys.
Sure, he's smart. He's very smart. But how am I going to get him back?
Yeah. Come on, now let's get our heads together and figure something out. Yeah, we've got to get that monkey. He's too valuable to leave in a cage in a zoo. Besides, Tony has to have him back in time for the matinee.
Hey, I got it.
What, Jerry?
I know how you can get him, Tony. It's easy. Listen.
Well, this better be good.
Oh, it is. Now, here's all you have to do, Tony. Get the clown band.
What? Well, how can they do anything about it?
Well, Tony's monkey is the leader of the clown band, isn't he?
Sure, he's the leader. He's a making them play.
All right, then. If the clown band can go out to the zoo and start playing right by the monkey cage, the little monkey will hear them and want to come out and play leader.
Hey, maybe you've got something there, Jerry.
Sure, it's bound to work. The monkey will think it's showtime and want to get out of the cage and go to work with the band.
That's good, yes, Mr. Randall?
Yeah, it might work at that. And then you can put your monkey through some of his tricks, and that should prove beyond a doubt that you have the right monkey.
That's a good boy, Jerry. Good
Well,
boy.
all right, get going. Round up all the clowns that work in the band, all that you can find, and here, take this money. Take a cab to the zoo.
Oh, thank you very much.
Can I go with you, Tony?
Oh, sure, you come with me, Jerry.
Well, I hope your idea works, Jerry. But whether it does or not, I want you back for the matinee. You've got your show to do, remember?
Yes, sir. We'll be back. And we'll have Tony's monkey, too.
performance of Mr. Frank Lovejoy, Autolite hopes once again to keep you in suspense.
I've done a lot of living for a kid 18 years old, and right then I could feel time beginning to run out. That was the night they had us holed up in the old McSween house, and the place burning all around us, and old man McSween sitting there reading his Bible, and me and Charlie Boudreaux knowing we had to make a break.
Fire's getting hot all the time, Billy. When's it gonna be?
Still got time to roll me a good smoke, eh?
This ain't hardly no time to be smoking cigarettes, is it?
Oh, we've been a tighter ones than this, haven't we, Charlie?
Maybe you have, but I haven't. You realize we gotta run within 10 feet of them fellas out there before we can make it to the woods? If we make it to the woods.
We'll make it. Some of us.
Hey, look out! First roof is falling!
No, ain't that convenient. Just what I need to light my smoke. Ready to go, Charlie?
I guess so.
Good luck.
Charlie Bogan! Get it!
He made it, Mr. McSween. He made it.
I shall go now, then.
All right. Hey, wait a minute. Where's your gun?
I've never carried a gun yet, Billy. And I do not intend to now. I shall carry my Bible. It stood me in good stead for many years.
A Bible against them? Say, it might work. It might just work at that. You step out there where they can see you holding it, and I won't fire when you start across. All right. Now.
Here do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death.
It's McSween!
I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff.
They shot him. Nothing but a Bible in his hand. They shot him.
All right, kid. You're next.
Oh, here goes nothing. Oh, come on, I'm waiting.
Let's go get him. In the woods. After me.
I'll be seeing you fellas around. And when I do, watch out. The Lincoln County War, they call that one. Just a feud between two cattle kings, and me, nothing but a working hand. But seems like they blamed the whole thing square onto me just because it was Billy the Kid, a tough little varmint that had killed 16 men. From then on, it was me running and them closing in, and just a matter of time. That was when I first met Pat Garrett. Me and Charlie was hid out in the mountains. Oh, I'll never forget the first sight I had of old Pat.
Hey, Billy, look at here.
What is it?
Full right up the trail.
Oh, lanky cuss, ain't he? Legs pretty near dragging the ground over that poor little pony.
Thank you not. I don't like it. What's he doing up here? You know him?
No.
Howdy. Mind if I pull up a spell?
It's a free country up in these parts, anyway. We just passing through?
Not exactly. You're Billy the Kid, aren't you?
Keep your hands in plain sight, mister. You get down off that horse real easy.
All right.
That's better. Oh, was you looking for Billy the Kid?
That's right.
What do you want with him?
I got a message for him.
You from the law?
No. But my message is...
Look, give me the kind of law like Bob Olinger and that bunch in Lincoln. I got no time for it.
And you are the kid, huh?
That's right. Now, what do you want?
I got a message from General Lew Wallace. He wants to talk to you.
Who's General Wallace?
New governor of New Mexico. President Hayes just appointed him. He's waiting for you down in Lincoln now.
You crazy, mister? You think either one of us would ride back into that town after what's happened?
Now, wait a minute, Charlie. You say... What's your name, now?
Pat Garrett?
You say this man was sent all the way out here by the president? Who wants to talk to me?
That's right.
When it comes from the President of the United States, I don't see how I can very well say no.
Billy, you ain't going.
I'm going.
He'll guarantee his safe conduct. As far as he can.
I know what you mean.
Billy, you know Bob Ollinger will never let you get out of that town alive.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about that myself. By the way, Mr. Garrett, whatever made him send you? You're a stranger out here, ain't you?
Guess that's the reason. Seems they couldn't find nobody else in Lincoln that took much to the notion of tracking down Billy the Kid. Well, there's your town of Lincoln.
That's sir. And if there ain't Bob Ollinger and the rest standing out in front of Murphy's store, just like they were waiting for somebody.
They are. Word got around even before I left.
I guess it would at that.
You're on your own now, kid. I'm staying here.
Somebody is scared?
No. I'm just staying on my side of the wall.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, if I was to ride in there with you and Bob Ollinger and them started shooting, the next thing you know, I'd be shooting back. And the next thing you know, I'd be in the same sorry sort of shape you are.
That's a good enough answer. I'll be seeing you around.
Hi, Billy.
Hi, Bob. I hear you're the law around here now.
I'm a deputy, yeah. Looking for some law?
When I come looking for you, Bob, you'll know it. Right now, I'm looking for General Wallace.
Smart kid.
You know where I can find the General?
He's sitting down there on the porch of the old Ellis place.
Thanks, Bob.
I don't want no thanks for you. Nothing.
General Wallace?
Yes?
You wanted to talk to me. I'm Billy the Kid.
But you're so young.
What?
Shall we go inside, Billy?
All right, General.
I'd like to talk to you privately. Sit down.
Thanks. A lot of paperwork you got on that desk, General.
Well, to tell you the truth, I'm writing a book.
Ben-Hur.
It's about ancient Rome.
I never had much school.
I know you didn't. I know quite a lot about you, Billy.
Well, not if you listen to the way they tell it around here, you know.
I've heard both sides. I know you didn't start the Lincoln County War single-handed. But frankly, Billy, the whole country has been shocked by the lawlessness and bloodshed out here. And some people seem to think you had quite a lot to do with it.
I fought for my side just like the others did for theirs, that's all.
That may be. The point is, I've been sent all the way out here by the President of the United States to put a stop to it. Billy, I want you to take off your gun now, and I want you to stand trial.
I don't mean to be disrespectful, General, but do you see that bunch of men standing in front of Murphy's store?
Yes?
Think I could walk past that store without my guns and get past it alive?
You've got past it just now.
That's because I had my gun. And it's a standing trial. I couldn't get any kind of a trial in New Mexico.
All right, Billy. I'm going to make you a proposition. If you stand trial and you are convicted, I personally will promise you a full and immediate pardon.
Full pardon? And then what?
Start a new life. Settle down.
General, when Mr. McSween walked out in front of that mob, he was a man that never carried a gun in his life. All he had in his hand was a Bible. Shot him down in cold blood. Now, General, I got a few scores to even up before I settle down. Maybe it was fate. I don't know, because Pat Garrett and me got to be real good friends after that. I was hanging around Fort Sumner, and so was he, and we used to see a whole lot of each other. And then I didn't see him around for quite a while. Until one day I walked into Jose Valdez's saloon. Pat Garrett, you old son of a gun.
Hello, Billy. Long time no see.
That's right. How about a drink on me?
All right.
Whiskey for two, Jose.
Sure thing, Billy.
How you been keeping yourself lately, Pat?
Oh, I've been here and there.
Yeah, I've been hearing about some of those places you've been.
Have you?
Hey, ain't that Billy the Kid?
Yes, that's right, Joe.
Who's that heading over here?
Joe Grant from Texas likes to think he's a pretty hard case.
Hope I ain't gonna have that kind of trouble again, Pat.
You're Billy the Kid, ain't you?
That's right, and you're Joe Grant.
Oh, you hear about me, have you?
Oh, sure, I've heard of you.
Tell you what, Billy. I bet I kill a man today before you do.
I don't aim to kill a man today or tomorrow or any time.
You think I don't mean it, huh? There's $25 cash money right on the bar. Jose'll hold the stakes.
Now, what would I want to make a bet like that for?
You scared of losing it?
All right, Joe, there's my 25. See that you don't kill nobody that don't deserve killing.
Don't you worry none about that.
I expect you'll sleep it off before you can do any damage. Where was we, Pat?
Yeah, we was talking about the places you'd heard I'd been.
Yeah, I heard you've been talking to the Cattlemen's Association. And I heard they've been talking about making you sheriff.
That's right, Billy.
I'd hate to see that, Pat.
His territory is going to be his state someday, Billy. Someday soon. And the state's got to have some law. For instance, you've been living off other men's cattle for the last 2 years. That's the kind of thing that'd have to stop.
And if you was the law, you'd have to stop it.
Yeah. I would.
Billy, the Joe Grant's coming back up here.
Thanks, Jose.
Yeah. Here it comes now.
I was afraid of something like this.
Don't worry, I'll handle it. Hello, Joe.
Hello, yourself.
Can I help you?
I'm collecting that bet for the kid.
You seen he drew first. You all seen that, didn't you?
Sure.
Move along, Pat.
All right.
The rest of you fellas just take it easy. That way there won't be no trouble. Bring your horse, Pat.
Right alongside yours.
Let's you and me take a little ride.
Might not be a bad idea.
Hey, you know what, Pat? I clean forgot to collect that $25 bet. Pat, tell me something.
What?
You gonna take that sheriff job?
Autolite is bringing you Mr. Frank Lovejoy in The Shooting of Billy the Kid. Tonight's production in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Say, Harlow, what do you like to do on a fine spring night like this?
I like to press the starter of my car, experience that engine snapping alive, thanks to the potent and persuasive power of my Autolite Stay Full, the battery that needs water only 3 times a year in normal car use.
And when you get started, Harlow?
Why, when I get started, I can't stop talking about the fiberglass retaining mats that protect every positive plate of the Autolite Stay Full to reduce shedding and flaking. And that the Autolite Stay Full gives longer life, as proved by tests conducted according to accepted life cycle standards.
But, Harlow, we were talking about spring.
Right hand. Spring to your telephone and call Western Union by number.
And as for me, Operator 25, I'll gladly tell you the location of your nearest Autolite battery dealer where you can get an Autolite Stay Full.
And remember, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite.
And now, Autolite brings back to our Hollywood soundstage Mr. Frank Lovejoy in Elliot Lewis's production of The Shooting of Billy the Kid. A true story, well calculated to keep you in suspense.
After Pat Garrett got to be sheriff, the cards was dealt, and nothing now but to wait for the showdown. And I guess I knew it, too. But somehow I couldn't bring myself to leave the country, and that's how we happened to be holed up at the old sheep herder's hut at Stinking Springs. It was early the next morning.
When are you figuring to move out, Charlie?
Most any time, I guess, Charlie.
Well, I better feed the horses, then.
Yeah.
All right. Off your hands, Charlie. We got you covered.
Pat Garrett!
Charlie, you hit bad.
I tried to draw on him.
Lie down here. You all right?
Oh, Billy, I'm done.
Don't talk like that.
Billy, I want a parson.
A parson?
Oh, I've done some pretty bad things in my life. I'd like to get them off my chest before I die.
How are we going to get a parson out here?
Talk to Pat Garrett. Ask him to take me into town. Please.
All right, Charlie.
Pat Garrett.
I want a parley. Will you come in? I won't hurt you, Pat. I give you my word. I won't hurt you. I give you my word. I don't want it. Charlie's dying. He wants a priest. Will you send him back to town?
I'm sorry about that.
Will you?
Billy, you can take this as a compliment or not, but I don't dare spare the men. I have to send a couple and use to get away.
Are you trying to bargain over a dying man's last wish?
No. There's been too much already about you and me being friends.
That's all over.
Maybe. I wish you'd give yourself up. If you don't, we're going to kill you tonight or tomorrow or the next day. I don't want that to happen.
Is he there? Is Pat there?
I'm here, Charlie.
You're doing too bad.
All right, Pat, here's my gun. Tell your men we're coming out with our hands up. So they caught me at last. And the trial was just like I said it would be, short and sweet, and me sentenced to hang on the 13th of May. And they took me back to the jail in Lincoln, handcuffs and leg irons and 2 deputies to guard me day and night. And who were they? Jack Bell and my old friend, Bob Olinger.
Know what day it is today, kid?
28th, unless I miscount.
You didn't miscount. You counting the days just the same as I am. Why don't you lay off the kid, Bob?
Oh, let him have his fun, Jack.
15 more days. 15 more days for you, kid. Then you'll be a dancer. End of the road.
That'd make you mighty happy, wouldn't it, Bob?
You want to know the truth? It'll be the happiest day of my life.
Well, maybe it will, maybe it won't. Lots of things can happen in 15 minutes.
You figure I'll make a break? I just hope you can try it. You see this double-barrel shotgun?
Yeah, I see it. And I've seen it before.
It's loaded with 18 bugs. If there's anything I want more than seeing you hang, it's a chance to kill you myself.
Morning, gents. Everything all right up here?
Just fine and dandy.
The boys treating you right, Billy?
Everything a condemned man could want, including Bob's daily lecture on the fine art of hanging.
I thought I told you to cut that out, Bob.
Ah, just ragging on that.
Well, I got to go to White Oaks today. Won't be back till tomorrow, so I want you two to take good care of my boy.
Don't worry about that, man. When I'm going over to lunch, you got him till I get back, Jack, then I'll spend it. All right, Bob?
Sorry about Bob Olinger, Billy. I know he's a mean devil, but he's my deputy, and I had to put him on a job.
Oh, I don't mind. Fact is, I'm kind of glad it's him.
What's that, Bob?
Nothing much. Pat.
Yeah?
What are you going to White Oaks for?
Just business?
I heard about that business. You're getting a man to build a gallows.
I'll be going along.
Hurry back with the gallows, Pat. It'd be a shame if you never got to use it. How about a little game of blackjack when Bob gets back?
Suits me. Got the cards right here. You want a bucket or bank it?
I'll bank it. I feel lucky today.
Down to the table. Not too close, Billy. I wouldn't want you to go making a grab with this gun in my belt.
Now, how could a man in leg irons and handcuffs do a thing like that? I can hardly make out to play my cards. Deal. I wish I was playing for money instead of matches. I'd feel real lucky. Oh, I'm sorry. I dropped the card on the floor. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'll get it.
Hey, you want my gun? I sure have, Jack. I'll use it on you if I have to. What are you going to do? Just don't make any wrong moves, and you'll be all right. I'm going to lock you up in a safe place, and then I'm going to wait for good old Bob. Now, open that door and start marching down that hall. Jack, stop! I hated to do that one, but I couldn't help it. I had to move fast now. I slipped the cuffs. I'd always known I could do that easy. I started back to the front of the building. And then I seen Bob Ollinger's shotgun leaning there against the wall. I grabbed it up, went over, and hid by the open window that looks out on the street. And sure enough, the next thing I see is old Bob hurrying down the street with his 6-gun in his hand.
Jack? Everything all right up there?
Hello, Bob.
Really?
That's right. And looking at you right down the barrel of that shotgun of yours.
No, wait!
I had a blacksmith cut off my leg irons, and that was when I should have left the country for sure. But still, I couldn't do it. Fate again? Maybe. But then there was a girl in Fort Sumner, never mind who. But there was a girl.
Who is there?
It's me.
Oh, Chiquito. You were so late, I didn't think you were coming.
I said I would.
Come quickly. Chiquito, good to see
You too, darling.
you. Billy mustn't stay though. They say Pat Garrett is in town.
Pat? No. Old Pat's down around Discosa. He thought I'd head south.
Well, I don't know, but they say... Chiquito, what are you going to do? You can't hide and run like this forever.
I'm not going to, darling. I want to settle down like they always said I should. I'm going to Mexico. You're going with me. Will you?
Yes, then.
We'll start in the morning. We'll be over the border in a couple of days. What? I'm half starved. You got anything to eat?
Oh, no, only a little bread and some frijoles. But Pete Maxwell killed us steer today. I'll go borrow some meat from him.
Now go.
No, Billy.
It's just next door, and Pete's an old friend.
Billy, be careful.
Don't worry. I'll be right back. Who is it?
You're one of them Mount Johnson brothers, ain't you?
Who is it?
Be nervous.
Pete. You asleep? So dark I can't see nothing. Who's that fella out on the porch?
He's with me, Billy.
Pat!
I'm sorry, Billy. Sorry it had to be me.
Suspense. A true story presented by Autolite. Tonight's star, Mr. Frank Lovejoy. This is Harlow Wilcox speaking for Autolite. Here once again is our star, Frank Lovejoy.
Thank you, Harlow. And ladies and gentlemen, may I thank you for the many wonderful letters you wrote following my appearance on Suspense and the wreck of the old 97. We of the Autolite family are happy when you enjoy the show. And may I urge you to listen next week, for I know you'll especially enjoy Frankie and Johnny, a suspense story starring Dinah Shore.
Right you are, Frank. And friends, remember, Suspense is presented by the Autolite family of 98,000 distributors and dealers, the nearly 30,000 men and women in 28 great Autolite plants from coast to coast, and the 18,000 people who have invested a portion of their savings in Autolite. Every Autolite product is backed by constant research and precision built to the highest standards of quality and performance. That's why you're always right with Autolite.
Next week, the radio dramatization in song and story of a woman.
Mutual Broadcasting System has the pleasure of presenting the 11th broadcast of a special 26-week series of plays by radio playwright Arch Oboler. In this series, we hope to bring you dramas full of the excitement and meaning of plays told in relation to the expanding world in which we live. Our drama this evening, through the cooperation of the Spanish Refugee Appeal, stars Mr. Francho Tone in The Naked Mountain. This story happened just yesterday. An American soldier and a British girl in the uniform of her country, riding in a jeep down a curving road of that portion of the Alps which passes through the German land of Bavaria. This is fiction, but fiction married to fact by the benediction of 100 truths.
She gave your very first kiss to you. That was Laura, but she's only a dream.
Oh, Tom. I think you really wrote that song for me.
Well, it really was nothing.
You fraud. You unadulterated fraud. I heard that song myself on the shortwave from America.
Well, I told you it was nothing.
Oh, Captain, I'm going to miss you.
And I'm going to miss you, Lieutenant. And I'm not laughing.
No, Tom, don't stop. You said yourself the Colonel wants his Jeep back before dark.
Oh, all right.
In a day.
Yeah, the Bavarian Alps. My father once drove from Kansas City to California. He's talked about crossing the Rockies for 20 years. This ought to top that story.
I'm sure it will.
Hey, look at the time. 43 hours left.
43?
Yeah, that's when my transport leaves from Croydon.
I thought it was next week. You
Well, I promoted a ride back with a special service unit. 43 hours from now. It's strange. When the order first came through that I could turn in my uniform, I took it rather calmly. It's not that way anymore. Laura, I want to get home.
Of course.
I've done everything I can. I'm a... What's that pleasant word? I'm a disability now. Well, it's all over anyway. Like a Sunday school story, the good are being blessed and the evildoers undone. So I'm going home, and I've got bells ringing in my head.
I'm glad for you.
Thanks. Hey, how about you? We've been having so much fun, I never asked. What happens to you?
I'm going home, too. I feel the way you do. It's all settled here.
So?
So, another few weeks, and then, as you always say it, up to non-10, here I come.
Will you come to America sometime?
Will you come back here sometime?
I don't think so. Why come back and remember what I saw? The things. It's over. That's all. Finished. I'm going home and stay there. Listen to me. Sure. I'll be back. Some year, maybe.
Maybe.
Why that?
Oh, I'm just tired. Tired.
It's been a war.
You're beginning to talk like a Britisher.
I'm beginning to talk like a veteran looking back. You know, it's funny. If anyone had told me a month ago that I'd be tying little memory ribbons on the war, I wouldn't have believed it.
It's done with.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful drive.
The colonel should know.
What?
That I drove his favorite Jeep up the backside of a Bavarian Alp.
It's a fine road.
Yeah, well, that's not the point. Back in civilian life, the colonel must have been one of those characters who put a dust cover over his car every time he parked.
I see.
Well, I'd better step on it or they'll be sending out St. Bernards to look for us.
If they're carrying a pot of tea, let's wait for them.
Yeah, the disgusting thought for the day.
Pardon my mentioning it, Tom, but we just lost our left wing.
Well, that's perfectly all right. We just lost the right one, too.
Oh, it's like coming down on a roller coaster.
Wait till I hit the next curve. I'll show you a racing turn my grandfather taught me.
Careful, Tom.
Under control.
Tom, look out. The rock.
Hey, Laura.
Tom.
You all right?
You should bring a suit against your grandfather.
Yeah. Well, let's get out and see how much damage Grandpa did.
Excuse me while I move my broken bones.
Hey, are you all right?
Oh, of course.
Ooh, the colonel's going to love me.
Oh, Tom, look at those huge rocks all over the road. That was expert driving.
All right, so we won't sue Grandpa. After all, if he...
Tom, what is it?
The right front tire.
Oh, dear.
And not a service station between here and Akron, Ohio. Does the captain like to change tires? No, the captain does not like to change tires.
But the captain will change the tires, or else the colonel will. But, Tom, look. Those boys.
Well.
Right. That way.
Huh?
Well, where did you come from? We ride that way.
No, small fry. You and your friend can't ride anywhere.
Where did they come from, Tom?
I don't know.
They look so tired.
Sure. But at this moment, hitchhiking little German bobby soxers don't...
What's the matter now?
Those rocks.
What?
The rocks in the road. They're piled up. Piled up. Somebody tried to smash us up. Someone tried to... You. Yeah, you. Both of you. Did you do that? Answer me. Did you put those rocks in the road?
Tom, I don't think they did.
Laura, let him answer. Listen, you, I want an answer. Did you pile those rocks in the road?
I put rocks in the road. Well.
Can you beat that? We have to run into some junior werewolves.
They're not trying to get away.
The arrogant little devils. Hey, what did you do it for? Answer me. Why did you try to wreck us?
No wreck.
Huh?
Just stop you. We won't ride. That way.
If anybody had told me that my last few hours in Europe would be spent banging on a wheel at the side of a mountain road.
Come on, sit down in the shade.
Well,
a minute or two won't make much difference.
Okay.
Got your canteen.
Thanks. You know, while I've been working, I've been trying to figure out what Army regulation gives me the right to break their blasted little Nazi necks. See, look at them sitting there. Sweet young boys. A swastika wouldn't melt in their mouths.
I've been trying to figure something out, too.
There's the philosophy of the whole nation epitomized. To make us go their way, they'd smash us up. Fantastic, twisted-minded
Tom,
little...
look.
And what?
Their faces. You look closely at their faces.
No. And thank God, in a few hours, I'll never have to see any more like them again.
Oh, please, Tom. Look at them.
Well? Well?
I don't think they're German.
Not German? Hey, what are you talking about?
Olive skin, dark eyes. Can they be Italian?
In Bavaria? No, they're little Nazis. Their brains have been trained to smash...
No, wait.
No, I ought...
Boys, are you Italian?
Oh, Laura.
Boys, I'm speaking to you. Are you Italiano?
I'll prove to you they're German. She thinks you're Italian. Well, that's an insult to a little Aryan werewolf, isn't it? Say, you do have dark skin, don't you? That gave you lots of trouble with the Hitler Youth, didn't it? They thought you little degenerate Italians, didn't they? Or maybe Spaniards? Called you dirty little degenerate Spaniards, didn't they?
No lo diga. Somos esperianos y soberbios.
No.
No.
Well.
Españolas. Look, how well do you understand English, boys?
We understand.
All right, then listen. Why did you do this thing? I'm an American officer. You understand? An American. This lady's a British officer. We're your friends. But don't you understand? Friends.
We have no friends, senor.
At least the mountain streams in this country are all right. That feels better.
Want to use my scarf to dry up?
No, just let it evaporate. That's sun.
Is there much more to do?
No, just tighten a few bolts. Hey, we'd better get back to the car before those young Don Quixotes tear it apart because they don't like us.
What are they doing up here, Tom?
Be careful where you step.
Oh, yes.
Well, they're part of a dispossessed pack of young'uns that'll be a problem in Europe for a while. Children who've lost their parents, wandering around, that's always a problem after a war. When great masses of population are dispossessed. Young devils, savages, all of them, no sense of responsibility. Well, they'll be rounded up soon enough and given training in a few social truths. Now look at those two sitting there, waiting for me to fix what they wrecked.
All right, Tom, all right. I understand.
And a good thing. Hey, where are those sandwiches we were talking about? I need my strength to face the colonel.
Oh, I have them here.
Quite a few.
Well, I can use quite a few.
Tom, ask them.
What?
They look hungry.
Oh, this is what is known as turning both cheeks. All right. My friendless friends, would you like some rations? Sandwiches, see? Victuals. Victual.
No, senor.
What do you mean, no, senor? Look, you might as well eat. You'll have to wait anyway until I eat and get those bolts back on. Go on, take them. Now look at your friend's eyes. They're going to fall out. Go on, take them.
Yes, take them, boys. I want you to.
Alberto? Gracias, senor.
Okay. Hey, Laura, aren't you going to eat?
No, I haven't been working. Do you think it's all right if I ask them a few questions?
Go ahead, but you won't get honest answers. Thank God making human beings out of these wild kids won't be my responsibility.
Boy, what's your name?
Juan.
And your name is Alberto?
Sí, he is Alberto.
Well, why doesn't he talk for himself?
He is silencioso.
Oh, nothing but direct action, huh?
You are the elder brother?
Sí.
What are you, 16?
Tengo 12 años.
12, Tom. Only 12 at his face.
Yeah. What are you doing in Germany, boy? Look, did you hear me?
Sí.
Then why don't you answer?
We mean you no harm. Why are you here in Germany?
Were you in France?
Sí.
You came here from France to Germany?
Sí.
Why?
Well, why not? Running wild and seeing Europe.
Were you brought here?
No.
Well, that's it. You just came here for the sights. Well, we're wasting our time, Laura, talking to them. Just kids gone wild, crazy with the...
No, not crazy, senor. We came to find out...
Alberto! Find your father. Your father was here, Alberto. Alberto, please answer me. Your father was here in Germany.
Madre mia, Thomas was going to... Why should he answer? Why did you want to know?
We're trying to help you.
Help us?
Of course.
When the Italians, Nazis fly over our village in España and burn down our house, my papa said, wait, the Americans, the British, they know we are the first to fight fascism. Wait, the Americans and the British. And all the big men and the boys to be shot. My papa take Alberto Mio to the montañas to Pancia. And he put us in a place with the barbed wire around it. It's cold. It's bad, hungry. My papa say, wait, the Americans, the British, the war begins. We're more cold, hungry. Everybody forget it. But my papa say, wait, the Americans and the British. And I just come and take my papa Alberto. Now we are little, we're fat. No can do that thing. My papa cry out, wait, the Americans, the British.
Well, he's all right now. Aren't you, boy?
See?
What I can't understand is why you boys didn't go to the authorities. Wandering around on your own. Why didn't you go to the authorities?
Autoridades?
Yes.
See, my brother and I know the autoridades. Seis autoridades. And the first one autoridades say, stay inside the barbed wire, children. Inside the barbed wire. Outside we can see tantas cosas. Autoridades say, not for you. Stay inside the barbed wire. We put you in the dark hole. 2 years inside the wire, senor. No grass, no trees. Just the ground inside the wire. That is not good for children. Is it, senor?
No.
Tell them, del segundo. Si les digo, I tell them. Las autoridades, el segundo, say we can plant things to eat. We're so happy, we work so hard, terrible hunger. Now we'll have to eat. Weather, frío, calor, buen tiempo, mal tiempo. All the time we work on a little piece of ground to make things grow. We work, we wait, so long to wait. Last, it's growing clean, beautiful. Las autoridades steal it all from us. When the children cry, las autoridades make them stand for hours in the sun. But till there is no more tears. In the fourth camp, when there was fiestas de Navidad.
Christmas.
See, there's a very small girl, Cecilia. She's Cuadro. She's born there. She has never been in España. She's always been inside the wire. We children, we say we all are brothers and sisters. We have nothing for her. So we stand around her and we sing the beautiful song of our home, España, our present to her. Just a song, senor. A little song. Quickly, las autoridades are there, the hands hitting, the feet kicking, no song. Si las autoridades, no song. No, senor. I know the autoridades well.
Boy, listen. Those are the authorities of the past. That's what we fought for. We've overcome that kind of authority. All over the world.
All over the world, senor? Then why am I not home with my mother?
Are they sleeping?
The young one. Juan isn't.
On guard, huh?
Yes. Oh, Tom, what can we do?
You know, in North Africa, in the south of France, the best soldiers were Spanish Maquis.
Why do you speak of that?
Well, they were grown men. And he has their look. I never understood it. When we used to thank them for doing something especially courageous on attack or patrol, they'd look at us the way he did when he asked us why he wasn't home. Laura, this is what they were saying. Where were you when we fought fascism? Where will you be when we fight it again? And I was the guy who was going to put it all away with my uniform.
Tom, if we take them to the relief authorities...
No, it's no good, Laura. The boys said it. Your people, mine. Our charity is set up only for the citizens of those countries where tyranny has been defeated. Their country is... What a word. Their country is neutral. There's no help for them. It's true. There's no help for them from us. Laura, remember, we didn't help them when the Nazi bombers and tanks were using their villages and their people for testing grounds. And now they're the only people on Earth who fought fascism who haven't any place on Earth.
Senor.
Huh?
The crossroads, senor.
What?
The crossroads. You will stop, please.
Tom, what are they?
Oh, I don't quite know.
Alberto, wake up. It is the road to the south. Estoy despierto. Estoy despierto.
Juan, what is it? We were going to drive you on down.
No, senor. That would only mean bad trouble for you. You're a soldier. This road goes south. We are on our way.
To where?
To home. Our mother.
But how can you? Won't they?
No, senor. We know very much now how to hide, how to kill.
Oh.
See, senor, this we must know. We were very young, Alberto and I, when we left. We have learned much. No harm will come to us. Adios, senora.
Goodbye. Tom.
Yes.
Goodbye, Juan. Alberto.
Adios, senora. Senora. Adios, Capitan Americano.
Goodbye, Juan.
Salud. Victoria.
Salud. Y Victoria.
You have just heard Mr. Francho Tone in Arch Oboler's play, The Naked Mountain. Opposite Mr. Tone was Lorene Tuttle, with Tommy Cook and Joel Davis. Your announcer is Marvin Best. The original music was written and conducted by David Braxton. Now, Arch Oboler will speak to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, there will be those who say that the play you just heard was propaganda. Propaganda. That's a very abused word. For there is propaganda for good as well as evil. I believe it is the playwright's duty and right to occasionally bring out through drama the plight of peoples disinherited. The people of which we spoke tonight, armed with faith in their republic, have never accepted defeat. They are a people who, throughout this war, have given their lives for the cause of the United Nations, yet who, now that the battle is for the larger part won in Europe, find themselves, because of a sardonic shrug of fate, the only people in exile without a country, without hope of relief beyond that which is in their faith. Thousands of them died fighting our war against fascism. Their families need our help. The Spanish refugee appeal of New York City is conducting a campaign to help them, to repay our debt to them. I don't believe that's evil propaganda.
Next week, the play will be titled The Truth. It is an amazing story of a strange adventure. The leading player will be the distinguished actor of stage and screen, Mr. Edmund Gwen. This will be the 12th of a special series of original plays, written, produced, and directed for the Mutual Broadcasting System by Arch Oboler. Now, David Raxon conducts the orchestra in excerpts from his sketch, The Children. David Raxon concludes the program with a short portion of his original Nocturne. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Whistler. Signal, the famous Go Farther gasoline, invites you to sit back and enjoy another strange story by the Whistler.
I am the Whistler, and I know many things, for I walk by night. I know many strange tales hidden in the hearts of men and women who have stepped into the shadows. Yes, I know the nameless terrors of which they dare not speak.
And now for the Signal Oil Company, the Whistler's strange story. Curiosity killed a cat.
Two people sit on an old wharf piled high with lobster traps, wooden buoys, and fish nets. But the dark, half-puzzled eyes of the young man are not on those things, nor on the distant masts of the fishing smacks and draggers scuttling into the harbor. No, John Hawley sees only the sun-bleached prettiness of the woman opposite him and the sturdy lines of the trawler approaching the wharf. Both the woman and the boat belong to Captain Daniel Bailey. Yes, John. That's what you're thinking about, isn't it? Ever since you came home from the merchant marine to find your childhood sweetheart married to a miserly old man, you've thought how easy it should be to get Captain Bailey's trawler, his gear, his house, his money, and his wife. And taking a job with the captain was only your first step. Favoring your bandaged finger, you pick up a brush and paint a red stripe around the lobster pool. The mark that tells the world it's not wise to tamper with anything that belongs to Captain Daniel Bailey. Carrie glances nervously toward the trawler and back.
Guess it'd look kind of funny me going back to house now, where the Nautilus just landed.
Daniel sees you, Carrie. So does old Matt Tuttle. He just waved.
Daniel took Matt along to haul traps in your place. Can't figure why they came back so early.
Weather, probably. I counted on crushing my finger to give us the whole day to get her, Carrie.
You think Daniel guessed you did it on purpose?
So I could stay ashore with his wife. Are you crazy?
Not crazy. But he has to live with my husband and know how suspicious and mean he can be.
I don't know. I remember when we were kids, we used to holler at him in the streets, call him a miser. And later I joined the merchant marine, and while I'm gone, you up and marry the old coot.
We're not kids any longer, John.
I know, but why did you do it, Carrie?
I never had a house of my own. I never had anything. Money or clothes.
Oh, that's a good one. He hooked you and never even lost his bait. Captain Daniel never spent a dime on you.
No, he hasn't.
Yet everybody knows he's been salting it away for years. Carrie, don't you know where?
No. But I told you, he doesn't believe in banks.
We knew where to lay our hands on that dough.
Well?
I've been going out to haul lobster pots with him ever since he sprained his back, haven't I? Accidents happen pretty easy at sea.
Daniel's a violent man, John. He won't sit by.
Listen, Carrie, the day we find out where his money is, you can get out your Sunday go to meeting dress. You always did look pretty in black.
Give your ball line to me, Matt.
Here she comes, John.
Okay. These are off now. Hi there, Captain Dan. Good haul today?
Fair, no thanks to you, John. Get that stern line out, Matt, and hop to it.
Nice of you to come down to meet me, Carrie.
I was mending nets while John painted the buoy.
Kinda figured you would. Suppose you get back to the house now and see to supper. We got company. Figure I owe it to Matt for helping me out.
It's one way of getting out of paying him.
Matt's a friend of mine. Something you wouldn't understand, John. Think maybe we should invite John to supper, too, Carrie?
Whatever you say, Daniel.
Seems like he needs somebody to help him nurse that crushed finger back to health. Right now, if you don't mind, I got to borrow John to help us sort lobsters. Oh, I'll bring him home to supper. Well, you look right nice, Carrie. Quite a spell since you fixed yourself up like this.
Quite a spell since we had company. Where do you think you're off to now?
Want to go up to the attic for a minute?
The supper's ready, Dan. Matt and John are all ready to sit down. It seems to me every time I call you for supper, you decide to go to the attic.
Yeah, Daniel likes to look at that old sea chest he's got up there. Leastwise, what's in it. Maybe put a little more in it, eh, Daniel?
Seems like Matt's let the cat out of the bag about your private bank, Captain Dan.
All right. Suppose I have got some money tucked away. Hard work's just as important as ever, John. And that's what you're afraid of.
Well, like all young people today, want to start at the top.
Don't see where scrimping and slaving I got you, Matt. Up at 4:30 in bed at 8 all your life. I'd like to have some fun before I die.
You never used to complain about your luck, Carrie. Anything special on your mind?
I get fed up sometimes. Well, I'll put the things on. You men sit down at the table.
Yeah, there's the horn starting. Guess I sniffed out the weather all right, eh, Matt?
Yeah, Daniel. Sure glad we aren't aboard the Nautilus now.
Why not? She's got a good compass. You know these waters as well as the rest of us, Matt.
Yeah, maybe so, John, but too many men have piled up on the inner reef just the same.
Not if you know where you're going and how to get there.
Never heard you sound so almighty sure of yourself, John.
Well, it's a question of knowing all there is to know about a subject, Captain Daniel. Navigation or anything else. Like maybe there's just one thing holding you up, and you find the answer to what you didn't know, and you're all set.
I don't know as I exactly get the drift of all that, John. You understand him, Carrie?
I think so, Daniel.
Daniel's mind is on putting all that folding money in his sea chest.
No. I'm thinking more of the fog closing in, Matt.
Yeah, can't very well forget it with that foghorn sounding like it was calling the body to his doom. You know what the foghorn always makes me think of?
Sure, man. Makes you think of death.
Yes, sir. Yeah, does it that? How'd you know, John?
Well, I guess you might say it makes me think of the same thing.
John, it was quite a shock coming home from several years in the merchant marine to find your childhood sweetheart married to Captain Daniel Bailey, wasn't it? But you're certain Carrie still loves you, aren't you? And you tell yourself that things will soon be much different, especially now that you've made sure where the old miser keeps all his money. In an old iron sea chest in the attic. It's a cold and black Monday morning, 2 hours before dawn, as you walk into the cheerful beam of light coming from the Bailey kitchen window. Carrie's there getting her husband's breakfast. And you know she's thinking the same thing you are. How easy it is for accidents to happen at sea, especially when there's a reason and a will to help them along. Then, as you open the back door, you stumble over the sea chest.
Oh, I hope you didn't hurt your toe on that chest, John. Be too bad if it kept you on land, too, like that crushed finger did.
Your fault for leaving it there, Daniel. I can't see why you brought it down in the first place.
I figure on stowing it aboard the boat. Get your mug up, John. Let's cast off.
You know, Captain, it's your wife's coffee, not your $25 a week that gets me up at this unholy hour to go out and haul traps with you.
You know, I guess there was something about Carrie that interested you. Her coffee, huh? Consider that a flattering remark, Carrie?
I'm considering the work I got ahead of me, Daniel. Sooner you two get yourselves and that chest out of my kitchen, the happier I'll be.
Well, that chest looks good and solid, Captain Daniel.
Yeah. They made things to last in my father's day. I always thought a lot of that chest.
Do you really think it'll be safe on the boat, Daniel?
Well, an old sea chest? Why not, Carrie? I got a feeling it's better stowed away in a locker where I can keep my eye on it.
Good sturdy lock there. Fine workmanship.
Hey, put that chest down.
It was only hefting it, Daniel.
Well, I was figuring on carrying it to the boat for you, Captain.
Will you keep your hands off things that don't belong to you? Now you sweep down that coffee while I get a couple of lobster trapped out of the shed if you're so anxious to carry something.
All right, Captain. You don't need to get sore.
You know, there's an old saying, John. Maybe you heard it. Curiosity killed a cat. Makes a lot of sense.
Know where he keeps the keys to that chest, Carrie?
One is key ring and the other in his jacket.
Hauling gets to be hot work. If he'd take his coat off before he went out in the door, he might have a chance.
Maybe he took the money out, hid it somewhere else.
Well, not from the way he's acting.
He suspects us, John. That's why he's moving the chest to the boat. Listen, the cabin's always locked except when he's on board. He keeps that key on his ring, too.
Don't you worry. When I'm ready, Carrie, Captain Daniel won't have things his way at all.
You wonder about Captain Daniel as he shoulders the chest and walks behind you down to the wharf where you board the Nautilus. It's interesting to see that he can't wait to get out of the harbor before locking the chest in the big locker on the starboard side, isn't it, John? Of course, it's probably coincidence that he suggests you both haul traps from the same dory when you reach the outer shoal, and that he never once takes his jacket off, even when pulling up the heavy crate. It makes you wonder if he knows you plan to kill him. But you've got to wait for the right moment, don't you? And 2 days later, you think that time has come, when Daniel's about to climb up over the side of the trawler from the dory riding below. As you stand over him on the deck...
Careful of your back, Captain. Let me give you a hand up.
No, not yet. Let me get the door a mite closer, John. Wouldn't want to fall between her and the Nautilus.
Well, come on, get a hold of my hand. I'll hang on to you.
Say, would you look who's coming into view? Ahoy there, Matt!
What's Matt's motorboat doing out here beyond the reef? I thought he took to shallower water.
He changed his lobster trap day before yesterday.
That's funny. I wonder why.
Because I suggested it, John. Now you can give me a hand up.
That evening, when you explained to Carrie that you failed, there's something almost like contempt in her eyes, isn't there, John? So you make up your mind tomorrow will be the day, no matter what. And by noontime, it looks as though Matt Tuttle was a blessing in disguise at that. You finished your haul when Captain Daniel decides to give Matt a hand with his. You watch the captain set out alone in the dory. Then you go quickly below to the cabin, where you saw him throw his jacket on the bunk. When he comes back, you'll have the sea chest open and the money in your pocket. And there'll be no more hide and seek, no more waiting for the right setup. You'll kill him in the cabin, out of sight of Matthew's prying eyes. Later, there'll be ways of getting rid of the body. Eagerly, you pick up his jacket, and as your hand goes into the side pocket...
I'll take my jacket, if you don't mind.
Captain Daniel, I noticed you forgot your jacket.
You think so? Toss it here. Then take the Nautilus and head back to port. I'll be going back with Matt. He's expecting me, so I wouldn't try anything if I was you.
Why, of course not, Captain.
By the way, I won't be needing you anymore, John. I worked out a deal with Matt. He's going to help me.
Oh? You intend to pay me for a full week?
Not if you don't work it. Tomorrow's Friday. You want to make it your last day?
You think of any reason why I shouldn't?
Maybe. Now I got my keys, John. I'll be going. Just you better remember what I said about curiosity killing a cat.
You failed again, haven't you, John? You tell yourself Captain Daniel wouldn't be alive now if he hadn't caught you by surprise. If it hadn't been that Matt was expecting him. The next morning, you skip your mug of strong black coffee in Carrie's kitchen and go directly to the trawler to wait for Captain Daniel. This is your last chance, and you're afraid to let Carrie see the little fears and doubts crawling in your desperate mind. When the captain arrives, his mood is as cold and heavy and silent as the fog which hangs over land and sea. But just as you're about to cast off...
Daniel!
Harry, what do you want?
I've decided to go out with you today, Daniel. I'm coming aboard.
Well, I'm counting on stormy weather when the fog lifts, Carrie, but if you want, you're free to come aboard.
Breeze is sprung up, Daniel.
Barometer's falling, too. Well, it's time to make our haul anyway. We may catch it on the way back.
Want me to take the wheel, Captain?
No. The less you have to do with this boat, the better.
Oh, look, Captain, I know it looked bad yesterday, but when I picked up your jacket, it was natural.
Oh, I forgot all about that. I got other things on my mind. I reckon we all have.
You mean the storm, Daniel? There'll be danger, will there, coming back?
You know, you sound a mite worried, Carrie. Mind if I ask why?
No reason at all, Daniel.
Well, as long as I'm at the wheel, well, maybe she'd feel safer, Johnny, if you was to explain that you can navigate these waters as good as me.
Well, sure I can, Captain, but...
Funny thing, you know, I don't remember your worrying about my getting home safe before, Carrie. I suppose it's different when you're along yourself. Guess that's it, eh?
Of course. I'm going on deck for a breath of air. As long as Daniel insists on staying at the wheel, John, I don't see why you have to stay in the cabin. Why wait till we reach the lobster grounds, John? Why not now?
These are fishing waters, Carrie. Don't you see those other boats off there? You think they're blind?
Still trying to put it off, aren't you?
Another half hour and we'll be there, Carrie.
If the weather turns bad, can we get back without him?
I've done it 100 times. I know these waters like the palm of my hand. Look, Carrie. When we're almost there, I'll slip up behind him while he's still got his attention on the wheel.
I'll be watching to see you do. This time. No mistakes. It's got to be over before Matt Tuttle's boat gets there.
For a half hour, there's no sound but the steady chugging of the engine. And then suddenly it stops. Dead ahead is the first of Captain Daniel's lobster booms. Carrie hands you the piece of lead pipe you dropped. There's no turning back now, is there, John? Holding the weapon in back of you, you silently open the cabin door and step inside. Captain Daniel isn't there. He's tied the wheel to a set course, and before you can turn...
You can drop that lead pipe, John. I wouldn't want to shoot a man in the back. Now, let you and me step out on deck with Carrie.
Look, Captain, I don't know what you're thinking, but...
Thinking? For a whole week I've been trying to keep myself from being killed, and at the same time give you a chance to tip your hand. It would have been one or the other if you weren't so yellow.
That's why you let me come along today, Dano.
I wondered if you wouldn't take a hand sooner or later, Carrie. You came along to give this young feller some nerve.
What are you going to do?
Might kill you, John. Don't like that, eh? Well, I always been a law-abiding man. I figure the sheriff will know what to do about attempted murder.
What about me, Dano?
You love this weak-kneed squirt, Carrie?
Yes, Daniel, I always have.
Then by thunder, you can stand right alongside him in court. There's Matt's boat coming in. We'll take him aboard.
What does Matt Tuttle know about this, Daniel?
Nothing, up till now. I don't wash my dirty linen in public.
Not much you don't, you tight-fisted penny-pinching old...
Old miser, huh? Maybe, John. But it appears to me your craving to get your hands on money beats mine all hollow.
What do you mean?
Oh, you know. The way both of you perked up when Matt mentioned my old sea chest that night. Well, it was a sight to see. Right then's when I knew. Right then's when I decided to move it here on board.
A man as mean and suspicious as you would be hard to fool.
My money was the bait I hooked you two on. That sea chest was like a bait bag bulging with herring, and it pulled you into my trap like a couple of greedy lobsters.
So all the time you were...
Giving you a rope to hang yourself. And now let's have no more talk. We'll anchor and wait for Matt. You get up forward, John. Be ready to drop that anchor over the side. And I'll come along, just in hopes you'll give me cause to shoot you the way I'd like.
And so, John, with Captain Daniel's revolver pointed squarely at your back, you move carefully before him up onto the slippery bow. He keeps his distance. He's not giving you a chance to turn on him, is he, John? Balancing yourself, you squat over the heavy anchor and move the line toward the chopper. Then you notice something. As old Daniel stops walking, he watches for the right spot to drop anchor. He steps into a loop of the anchor rope. This gives you an opportunity you hadn't expected. With one move, you shove the anchor over. And the rope tightens around Daniel's leg, pulling him overboard.
Now there, Carrie. John and me searched as long as we could. Daniel's gone. There's nothing more we can do.
Thank you, Matt.
Don't try to say nothing now. And you, John, you better get out of those wet clothes. It's a mighty fine thing you did, going right over the side there, trim like that.
I couldn't reach him, Ned. I think he got untangled from the anchor line all right, but he must have been in bad shape. Probably hit his head as he went over.
Try not to think of it anymore. Lucky I happened along when I did, though.
Oh, you were a big help, Matt.
Ain't just what I mean, Carrie. There was something preying on Daniel's mind. Some said he was worried about you two.
Well, now, look here, Matt.
I wasn't one of them, John. Jumping catfish, I've known your kid since you was knee-high to a grasshopper. But Daniel, rest his soul, he had one of them suspicious
I don't
minds.
think you should talk like that.
But there might have been, talk about his death, Carrie. Lucky my boat was close enough so as I can swear nobody was near him when he fell over. You got me to prove to folks it was an accident. Well, I gotta get back to my motorboat. She don't ride a storm like this boat, eh, John? Hey, here she comes. I'll close your cabin door tight.
By the time Matt gets through talking to folks, you'll be a hero, John.
What a break. As soon as he gets out of the way, we'll start back, eh? And then we'll get that sea chest out of the locker and have a look at it. He called it a bait bag. Bulging with herring, Carrie.
To tempt a couple of greedy lobsters.
Only this time, baby. You and me are the ones that got away.
It was easier than you had dared hope, wasn't it, John? Captain Daniel's foot caught in the anchor line that dragged him overboard to his death. And your diving in after him took care of the rest, didn't it? And you're perfectly safe because Matt Tuttle saw the accident. Will even swear you risked your life to rescue Captain Daniel. You head the Nautilus back toward port. Leave Carrie at the wheel. Get the captain's sea chest and rejoin Carrie. The storm is increasing in fury. So you place the chest on the chart stand by the compass and take the wheel. But soon your curiosity overcomes you. You turn the wheel over to Carrie again and start to open the chest.
Just a few twists of the blade. Carrie?
What, John?
That bell buoy sounds to port. You could starboard.
Keeping the compass just like it said.
I see. Oh, well, when rain cuts your visibility, you get to imagining all sorts of things about direction.
Get on with the chest, why don't you?
Oh, well, luck, rope. Lid's kind of stiff, but I'm getting it. Carrie, give me that wheel.
What are you doing, John? You turned this off course.
You mean I'm trying to?
What are you talking about?
We're too close to that reef. The wind and current are against us. We're being pushed under the rocks. Any second, Carrie.
But our course was north.
It was. When I put that iron chest on the chart stand, it affected our compass. We're headed right onto the inner reef. If I hadn't been so excited about the money, I'd have remembered that chest was made of iron.
Look, the chest is empty.
Empty?
Yes, except for gold charts. Look for yourself.
Oh, that's what that scheming Captain Dan was up to. He knew we were dying of curiosity about that old sea chest, and he knew it was empty.
But where is his money, John?
I don't know. Now we'll never know.
Let that whistle be your signal for the signal oil program, The Whistler, each Sunday night at this time. Featured in tonight's story were Bill Foreman as the Whistler, Lamont Johnson, Peggy Weber, Griff Barnett, and Charles Seal. The Whistler was produced and directed by George W. Allen, with story by Jack Kelsey, music by Wilbur Hatch. It was transmitted overseas by the Armed Forces Radio Service. The Whistler is entirely fictional, and all characters portrayed on The Whistler are also fictional. Any similarity of names or resemblance to persons living or dead is purely coincidental. Marvin Miller speaking for the Signal Oil Company. This is the CBS Radio Network.
This is Orson Welles speaking from London. The Black Museum. Here in the grim stone structure on the Thames, which houses Scotland Yard, is a warehouse of homicide. A museum of everyday objects. Cigarette boxes, appointment books, a hat rack. All are touched by murder. Now here's a brickbat. Coarse-grained, rough-edged, familiar. Perhaps your own home is built of bricks, exactly like this one. In this case, however, no home was built by such a brick. Rather, a home was destroyed by it. Destroyed forever.
It's still such a normal-looking object, Inspector.
Is it really? With that broken corner? With the stains still on its edges?
I suppose you're right, sir. If there's one thing that can upset normalcy, it's spilt blood.
And today, that blood-stained brickbat can be seen here in the Black Museum.
From the annals of the Criminal Investigation Department of the London Police, we bring you the dramatic stories of the crimes recorded by the objects in Scotland Yard's Gallery of Death, the Black Museum.
Well, here we are in the Black Museum. Scotland Yard's Museum of Murder. Yes, here lies death. Upon these tables, within these cabinets, the files of death, labeled with day and date and name of victim. Here's a hat rack. Odd to find such a commonplace object here, perhaps, but observe. Here where the wood curves from base to shaft, 3 brownish stains. Blood dripped here from a weapon concealed within the lining of an overcoat. 3 stains, which placed a murder at the scene of crime. Broken alibi. That's another story. Here's our brickbat. Of such bricks are garden walls built. Later, the ivy or some such creeping vine grows over them, hiding the sharp edges, softening the 4 square contours. This brick, too, was meant for such bucolic purposes. But as it happened, things didn't work out that way. We might say it all began when young Anne Friskin composed an advertisement and told her much older husband, James, about it.
So you're placing an advertisement. Wanted, boy, about 18. References, handyman work. Some such thing?
Exactly, dear.
Oh, very good. Only don't let him get too close to Alma. It might not be good, boy.
A simple domestic scene. Wife cooperating with husband, or the other way around, if you prefer. Some small mention of the husband's cousin who stays with them. That's all. The advertisement appears in the usual help wanted columns. Several young men apply. One is Dick Terry.
Yes, ma'am, I've had some experience during the summer at my uncle's place in Dorset.
The money's all right?
Oh, quite generous, ma'am. What with the room over the garage, you know.
Well, your references seem quite good. And a good school report, too.
The boy settled into his job and worked out well. The gravel driveway was soon in good condition. The lawns were well mowed. The bricks were ordered for the repair job on the garden wall. Yes, the bricks were ordered. And in the household, All was well and quite normal.
One more hand, ladies?
If you wish, James.
Aren't you satisfied with beating us again, dear?
I suppose I should be. But it must be somewhat dull for you, Anne, dear, night after night with just Alma and me.
In the household, as we've said, all was well and quite normal. Undercurrents? If you look for them, perhaps otherwise a retired, well-to-do gentleman in a suburban London home, living quite happily with his lovely young wife and his cousin Alma. Still, one never knows, does one?
Good morning, Dick.
Oh, all right.
Oh, the work is coming well, isn't it?
Yes. Lovely day, isn't it?
Nothing quite like the springs we get here, is there?
Awfully quiet there. Yeah?
Yes, I suppose it is. For someone your age.
Begging your pardon, Mum, it don't seem to me like you'd be giving up just yet.
Oh, thank you, Dick. It's nice of you to say so. Aren't you getting those bricks a trifle uneven, Dick?
Oh, that's on purpose, Mum. It's a trick I learned from my uncle. It gives the creepers and vines and such a better hold.
It's clever. You do know your work, don't you?
I hope so, Mum. Person likes to do his work where he's appreciated.
Well, you are. No fear about that. And just to prove it, come up to the house later and we'll see about finding you a nice cold drink. On a warm day like this, a cold drink would...
No, after all, it's quite natural, isn't it? You do as much for your help, wouldn't you? No one would think anything of it. No one did in the Friskin household either until these trips for the long, cool drinks became somewhat habitual. At which point Alma spoke to Anne.
Do you really think you're doing the proper thing, Anne? Of course, it's none of my business, I suppose, but...
What are you driving at?
That boy.
He's an excellent worker.
People will talk.
About what, pray?
Oh, nothing. But people will talk about nothing, you know. And if James should hear from the wrong person...
Please be explicit, Alma. I don't happen to have a devious mind.
It's quite simple. James is past middle age. You're young, vital. The boy is undeniably attractive with that flaming hair and all. And he is up here at the house quite a good deal.
And you're suggesting...
No, of course not. I am merely pointing out to you how it can look to the neighbors.
Frankly, I don't care. Please don't bring the subject up again, Alma. I refuse to discuss it with you.
Alma did not bring up the subject again, not with Anne. However, she waited for an opportunity and then...
James.
Yes, Alma?
I want to talk to you.
Aren't we rather formal today? Closed doors and all that sort of thing?
I'm not speaking behind anyone's back. I've already taken this up with Anne.
Oh? What's the trouble?
It's that boy, Dick Terry.
Dick? Alma, don't tell me he's been making advances.
That's not funny, James.
Oh, sorry. What then?
Anne is letting him spend too much time at the house. His place is in the garden and the garage. People will talk.
Aren't you doing a bit of talking yourself, Alma?
I'm doing my duty as I see it.
Then you've mistaken your duty. I'm fully capable of protecting my honor, as you doubtless would call it. And I'll thank you, Alma, not to bring this up again. Although, doubtless, you have the best intentions in the world.
Very well, James. But if anything does occur, you will thank me for warning you.
Yes, Alma awaited her opportunity and spoke to James. That worthy and decent gentleman dismissed the incident from his mind. That should have been the end of it. Unfortunately, however, the whole matter was reopened, and in quite a different quarter.
Good morning, Dick.
Morning, Mum.
Oh, the hedge does look nice.
Thank you, Mum.
Is anything wrong, Dick?
Matter of fact, I'm giving notice.
Why, Dick? But why?
I'm giving notice.
But what's wrong? Have I done something? Or is it about your money? Because if so, I'll speak to Mr. Friskin at once.
Don't bother, Mum. I'm leaving. Call it wanderlust. Call it anything you like.
Dick, look at me. Oh, do stop clipping that hedge and look at me.
Yes, Mum?
I insist on knowing what's wrong. I thought you were happy here. I know I've been happy to have you here.
I'd rather not... All right, Mum, but you asked for it.
I asked for what?
It's you, Mum. I'm crazy seeing you day in and day out and having you nice to me. Just nice to me and thinking of you with him and me not having a ghost of a chance. I can't stand it, Mum, that's all. You'll have to let me go.
Poor Dick. You've held this inside you all this time.
Yes.
Oh, Dick, I'm so sorry. So terribly sorry. Come here.
Fire in the garden, flash fire in dry grass on a warm summer morning, perhaps in any case. The boy stayed on his job and nothing further was said in the household. Everything was routine, quite normal. Even the bridge games in the evening, three-handed bridge, of course. July moved on into August. Hot, muggy August nights.
Well, I'm going up to bed. Coming in?
Not just yet, dear. I think I'll read a while. It may be cooler in the library. Good night, dear.
Good night, then. Good night, Alma.
Good night.
A hot, muggy August night. Dark. No moon. Barely a breath of air. James tossed restlessly, sleeplessly.
Anne, that's you, Anne. Coming to bed, dear. Go! Ah.
Well, today that brickbat can be seen here in the Black Museum. It was Anne's screams which brought Alma and then some of the neighbors. James was not dead, but nearly so. The doctor, Dr. Kinder was his name, examined his patient and proceeded quite efficiently via the telephone.
That's right. The ambulance at once with oxygen equipment. I want the operating theatre ready, anaesthetists, nurses, and my assistant. Friskin has a badly fractured skull, and with his heart condition, he has about 1 chance in 100 to live. Hurry. I'll wait for the ambulance. Now, the police.
Police?
Well, really, ladies, a man is attacked, half murdered in his bed with a heavy instrument of some kind, and you question my calling the police.
Oh, if only I'd gone upstairs with him. If only I'd gone upstairs. If you had.
Operator, ring through to the police, please. Hurry.
Oh, to walk in like that, to find him there, the blood. Oh, his poor head. His breathing, that awful gasping.
This is Dr. Kinder. Let me speak to the superintendent, please.
Dick. Where's Dick? Yes. Where's Dick?
No one had missed the boy until Anne thought of him. With all the excitement, all the horror, no one had realized he was missing. Dr. Kinder finished talking to the superintendent of police and turned back to the two women.
The superintendent is sending an Inspector Ralph. Very good man, he says. CID.
CID?
Criminal Investigation Division. Did I hear you mention someone named Dick?
Yes, Dick Terry. He's the hired man. Well, more of a boy than a man. He has a room over the garage.
And he isn't in the house? He hasn't been here?
No. The neighbors came, but not Dick.
Perhaps I'd better fetch him.
No, stay here. The police will find him.
The police will find him.
They did find him, but in his room over the garage.
Where was he, Sergeant?
In the attic, Inspector, hiding in a corner.
All right, son, speak up. Why?
I got scared. That's it, scared.
What of?
I heard Mrs. Friskin screaming, and I ran over from the garage, and when I got up to the room where the lights were on, Miss Galpin was carrying on, and Mrs. Friskin was just standing there screaming, and he was on the bed, and I just ran.
You didn't offer to help. Why not?
I couldn't think. Nothing.
Why?
I guess I didn't want to be blamed for doing it.
Who would blame you?
Oh, somebody. Anybody.
Did you do it?
No. I never touched him. Never.
All right, Sergeant. Hold him in the kitchen.
All right, sir.
I'll talk to the Galpin woman now. What is she, a companion or something?
Cousin of the victim, sir. Lives here.
All right, send her in.
Alma Galpin knew nothing except the discovery of her cousin in the bedroom. But the inspector was curious.
The hired boy says he was scared. Have you any idea why?
Well, he's been making sheep's eyes at my cousin's wife.
Oh?
People were talking. He's a good-looking boy. She's so much younger than poor James. You know how an ignorant mind works sometimes.
The inspector knew. Also, he was a considerate man. He implied as much to Anne Friskin.
I know you've had a terrible shock tonight, Mrs. Friskin, but I have to ask you a few questions.
Of course, Inspector. I'll try to answer.
Did your husband have any enemies? Anyone who might want him out of the way?
Oh, no. No one. Everyone liked James.
Even the boy, Dick Terry?
Dick? Oh, no. No, you don't think that Dick...
I don't know yet, but we'll have to hold him, Mrs. Friskin. He seems to have something of a motive. At least, there seems to have been some talk.
They held Dick Terry on an open charge pending developments at the hospital. There, James Friskin hung on the fringe of death, barely breathing, completely unconscious. At the house, Alma faced Anne.
The police. What do they know?
I don't understand.
They're holding the boy. They're not even looking for the weapon. And meanwhile, whoever did it could be miles away.
Then you don't think Dick did it?
It's too pat. Of course not. Why would he? Even... You never gave him any encouragement, did you,
Alma?
Did you?
You're hysterical.
I know exactly what I'm saying. And I don't believe that boy raised a finger against James.
Then why did he hide?
Wouldn't you, in his position? The police, arrest, the most obvious person. That's all they know. Someone ought to teach them their business. Obviously, they don't.
Well, there are those who would like to teach the police their business. Quite a few people would. Alma Galpin set out to try. And it was with that idea in mind that she appeared in Inspector Ralph's office at the local station house.
Well, Miss Galpin, sit down, won't you?
Thank you.
What can I do for you?
How far have you got in this case, Inspector?
We're still holding the boy. The only charge at the moment is assault. If your cousin dies, well, that'll be another matter.
Then you've done nothing.
For the moment.
I see. I brought you this.
No?
Why don't you open it?
As you wish. Yes, I see. A brickbat with stains on it.
Don't you want to have it checked for fingerprints?
Rough surfaces like this don't hold prints. Why?
It's the weapon.
Oh? How do you know?
I found it. It was in the little pile of leftover bricks at the foot of the garden. James was going to ask the boy to build a barbecue pit with them.
I see. Well, how do you know so surely this is the weapon?
That's blood on it, isn't it?
It might be.
Aren't you going to have it tested?
Probably. Miss Galpin, do you realize that this brick might be the piece of evidence to hang that boy?
It might be. It might hang someone else, too.
Is this a charge, Miss Galpin?
Who stands to gain most? Who would have her freedom? Who would get James' money? Have you thought of that, Inspector? Who wanted the brick wall repaired? Who spent altogether too much time in the garden? Have you given any thought to these questions, Inspector?
Perhaps the inspector had. Others had, that was certain. And suddenly, with one sentence, Dr. Kinder changed the entire complexion of the case.
I'm sorry to have to tell you, Mrs. Friskin, but your husband passed away about 10 minutes ago without ever regaining consciousness.
Now it was murder. And Anne Friskin, the young widow, came to the station house to see Dick Terry in his cell.
Here, ma'am. You have 10 minutes.
Yes. Thank you.
I'll be back in 10 minutes.
Oh, Dick. Oh, Dick.
I didn't do it here. I'm stuck with it, but I didn't do it.
Oh, Dick, you don't think for 1 minute I believe you did do it.
How should I know what you believe?
Well, you know me better than that. I want to help you.
I know you better. Do I? Do I know any more about you than you know about me?
Oh, Dick, don't talk like that. Please let me help you.
With what, a axe or blade?
I'll get you a lawyer. I have money now. I'll take care of you.
Sure. You've got money now. You've got it all now, and I've got a murder charge. Anything you may say will be taken down in writing and may be used in evidence against you.
Oh, Dick. After what you told me in the garden.
Oh, forget it. Maybe that never happened. Maybe I was really crazy. Maybe you figured more than I meant. Well, what's the difference? He's dead and you've got everything.
You keep saying that. I've got everything.
Well, haven't you? Isn't it what you wanted?
Oh. You think I did it?
Oh, do I? All I know is I didn't, but I'm stuck in this rotten jail. I won't peach on you if that's what you're worried about. Not unless my own neck can't be saved any other way. Oh, maybe you did, maybe you didn't.
Not a very pleasant scene. Not a very pleasant circumstance. The young woman, the boy, the sadly tender phrases of a summer morning shattered between them. However, in the offices on the floor above Dick Terry's cell, Inspector Rolfe and Sergeant Hopkins were more interested in facts than in phrases.
So, pathology reports it's Friskin's blood type on that brick. It's the weapon, all right. But who used it?
The boy had a crush on the wife?
Badly enough to kill for her? No, I doubt it.
There aren't any alibis, sir.
That's the trouble. He says he went to bed as usual. No one saw him anywhere that night. The Galpin woman says she went to bed. The widow says she read for a while, went upstairs, and found her husband.
Could all three have been in it together, sir?
How do you figure that, Sergeant?
Well, Mrs. Friskin could have promised Galpin money, and Mrs. Friskin would have had the boy. They might have planned to have the boy actually do it.
Come in.
I'm sorry, Inspector.
Not at all, Mrs. Friskin. Come in. Sit down. I believe you know Sergeant Hopkins.
Yes. I have very little to say. It might be easier standing.
As you wish, ma'am.
I just saw Dick downstairs.
Too bad about him. He seemed a nice lad.
Yes, sir. Inspector, this is not the easiest thing for a woman.
I understand. You have an alibi for the boy? And yourself?
Yes. Yes, I do.
The inspector was an understanding gentleman. He offered no comment. He merely recorded a fact and let Anne Friskin leave his office with her own thoughts for company. Later that same day, he arrived with Sergeant Hopkins in tow at the Friskin house.
Ladies, we've done some further checking and investigation. We thought we'd apprise you of the situation.
I see.
Thank you for that, at least.
We're letting the boy go. He's in the clear.
I knew that all along. I told you so.
Yes, you did. I remember. The day you brought me the brickbat.
Where did you find it?
In the pile at the foot of the garden.
I see that you know, Mrs. Friskin. There is no pile of bricks at the garden. It happens to be in the rear yard, near the back door, close to the foot of the back stairs. The stairs which reach the second floor quite close to the door of your room, Miss Galpin. Now, Sergeant, if you'll stay quite close to Miss Galpin and take down what she has to say.
Taken down and may be used as evidence.
Yes, the usual warning. Well, Miss Galpin? Why did you kill your cousin, Miss Galpin?
She had everything. Even the boy with his sheep's eyes. I had nothing. I thought if I got rid of James, who was too dull to care, she'd be blamed. After her, I'm next of kin. I'd have everything. I saw the little pile of bricks. I meant to put them in the garden later. A brick is heavy. It hits hard.
Today, the brickbat can be seen here in the Black Museum.
Orson Welles will be back with you in just a moment.
They put Alma Galpin safely away, where she could harm neither others nor herself. Dick Terry left that pleasant suburb of London and dropped into the anonymity one can find only in a great city. Anne Friskin sold the house and went Far from London, to start over perhaps, but to carry with her always the memory of tragedy on a hot, muggy night, and the memory of a mistake made through loneliness and mistaken kindness. Now, until we meet next time, in the same place, for another story about the Black Museum, I remain, as always, obediently yours.
Transcribed. The Mutual Broadcasting System presents The Mysterious Traveler, written, produced, and directed by Robert A. Arthur and David Copeland, and starring one of radio's foremost actors, Cliff Carpenter, in Murder in 2952.
This is the Mysterious Traveler, inviting you to join me on another journey into the realm of the strange and the terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip, that it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, get a good grip on your nerves, and be comfortable, if you can, as we leap 1,000 years into the future, to see how the forces of crime and detection may operate then. It's a story I call Murder in 2952. The date, the year 2952. Mankind has colonized the planets Venus and Mars and is mining uranium on Mercury while making trips of exploration to the more inhospitable celestial bodies Saturn, Neptune, and the moons of Jupiter. But still, life is not so different from life today. There are still men and women, which means love, jealousy, hatred. And there are still crimes and criminals, which means a police force. People still live in houses, even though they're very different from the ones we know. In the living room of one of these houses, a young woman is playing an ancient tune on an ancient musical instrument to an appreciative audience of one. John Malawan, a field researcher for the World Biological Institute.
There, John. How did you like it?
I liked it very much, Trina. But I never heard it before. What in the world is it? It's so different from the music I'm used to.
It's at least 1,000 years old. Maybe older. I found the score in the musical section of the Library of Congress.
You play it very well.
Oh, I'm glad you think so. I hope Randy will like it.
Randy Morgan? He doesn't go in much for music, does he?
Oh, Randy doesn't go in for music at all. I wish he did. But it's just because he's never been exposed to it. He'll learn to like it yet.
Any man would if you played it for him. I wish I could be here for the music competition. Nobody else will have anything like that 1,000-year-old tune of yours. What's it called?
Liebesgott. In one of the old languages, that's supposed to mean love's dream.
Well, if Randy doesn't appreciate it, I'll personally blast him down. He'll be at the competition to hear you play, won't he?
Oh, yes. He's promised, even though he hates music. I do wish he enjoyed something besides catching criminals.
Well, that's his job. After all, he's the lieutenant of the World Police, Interplanetary Division.
Yes, I know, but if only he didn't seem to enjoy it so much. Catching murderers and space pirates. Well, I'm being silly. He's nice.
Sure he is. Also very handsome.
Yes, he is, isn't he?
Well, John, you'll be much longer. Time's getting short.
There's Dad. He's waiting for you.
I'll be right in, sir. Guess I've got to say goodbye for a few months.
I'll miss you, John. We always had so much fun. Do be careful, won't you? Ganymede is supposed to be such a horrible spot.
I'll be careful. You know, there's a very rare plant growing there. It may do something for the one disease we can't cure, old age. Well, give my best to Randy when you see him.
So you're off to Ganymede, eh, John? Leaving the field clear for Lieutenant Randolph Morgan to marry my daughter.
Well, I guess that's how it is, Professor Fergus. She's in love with him.
He's in love with an illusion, John. An illusion 6 feet tall, broad-shouldered, beautiful teeth. An illusion that can dance the Venetian jump perfectly. She thinks the illusion is a man.
It's a very convincing illusion, Professor Fergus. Randy Morgan is everything that I'm not. I can't blame Trina for preferring him.
Yes, you're a cerebotonic type. Intelligent, skinny, stoop-shouldered, nearsighted, and twice the man Randy Morgan is.
Well, thank you, Professor, but I don't think you're being quite fair to Randy. After all...
I know all about Morgan, John. I tell Trina, but women are one thing that haven't changed in the last 1,000 years. When they think they're in love, the devil himself can't convince them that they're wrong about a man.
Well, I hope she's not wrong, sir. If I thought there was a chance for me... But I know there's not.
I'm not so sure. What if Morgan were out of the way?
What do you mean, sir?
I've been quietly investigating. I have some facts that would get him dismissed from the service, maybe jailed. For one thing, he's a dream apple addict.
Randy eats Martian dream apples? Oh, that can't be, sir. Why, those things are worse than heroin or cocaine.
I have the proof. So, John, Randy Morgan may be removed from the scene after all.
Professor Fergus.
Yes, John?
Take my word for it. You'll just make Trina hate you. She'll believe all the evidence was framed.
Framed?
It's an old word meaning falsified. She's in love. You yourself said a woman in love can believe no wrong about a man.
Nevertheless, I'm going to the authorities. So, John, if you could possibly stay on Earth for a few weeks.
I wish I could. But the harvest season on Ganymede won't wait. I have to blast off tonight. Goodbye, sir. I'll be back as soon as I possibly can.
39,308 meters per second. Let's see, add to that a trajectory of beta over 3. We have a force field curve of
Professor Fergus?
John, you've come back, but why? No.
John Malawan, field researcher speaking. This is my final transcribed report on my 47th day in the Ganymedian jungle. I am almost ready to blast off, but an hour ago, a small police rocket sat down in the dense jungle about half a mile away. And now I see a man approaching. He seems familiar. He looks like... Why, it's Randy Morgan.
John Malawan.
Randy! So it is you. Well, what the devil are you doing here?
Get in a moment.
Well, John, so this is your hideout.
My hideout? What do you mean?
It's a very clever old man. It's taken me 5 weeks to track you down in this planetary jungle.
What do you mean, track me down? I'm here on an official mission.
That's what I mean by very clever. It gave you the perfect excuse for hiding in a rotten jungle.
Randy, are you woggy? I'm not hiding.
Oh, no. Most murderers do hide, you know.
Murderers? Oh, now listen, Randy.
You listen. I'm officially placing you under arrest for the murder of Professor Fergus just before you blasted off from Earth.
Professor Fergus murdered? If this is some kind of a joke...
This stun gun is no joke. Make a move to resist and I'll paralyze you.
You're crazy. So you are a dream apple addict.
I warned you. All right, John, you can see and hear, but you can't move. I'm bringing my patrol rocket over here and loading you on board. You're going back to Earth with me in chains. And I rather think that you'll wind up in the old-fashioned gas chamber for committing willful murder.
I feel as if I had a toothache at every muscle in my body.
Coming out of it, are you? Those are muscle cramps from the stun gun paralysis, John, in case you've never had them before.
Oh, I never have. I suppose you've dealt them out often, no?
A few hundred times, that's all. Here's something to make you forget your troubles. Catch.
What is it?
Just a little fresh fruit. Make you feel better.
Fresh fruit? It's 1 pound of dynamite. This is a Martian dream apple.
So what? It'll take away your aches, make you feel like 1,000,000 credits. Here, I'm having one, see? Couldn't harm a baby.
So Professor Fergus was right. You are an addict.
Oh, Fergus was in his second childhood. By the way, what was your motive for killing him?
For killing him? Randy, what is this all about? Is Professor Fergus really dead?
You should know you bashed in his head with a rocket control lever from your own rocket.
That's nonsense. He was fine when I left him. Now, what happened?
Keep it up, John. It's a good impersonation of innocence. But all the same, that chain around your ankle doesn't get unlocked until we blast in on Earth.
Very ingenious way to keep me confined. I can't quite reach you, or the rocket control board. But I still have some freedom. Now I can see this chain won't come off. All right. I'm not going to make any fuss. Now tell me what happened.
Well, half an hour after you went into her father's library, Trina heard a groan and a fall. She hurried in, and there was the poor old boy dead on the floor. She ran to the front door screaming for help, and I was just coming up the walk. I had a date to see her, fortunately, and I took charge of the case.
I can just see it. Amazing how you just happened to be there.
Very lucky, wasn't it? Well, Fergus was dead, but I had some of our technical crew bring over our finest instruments. With the atomic pressure recorder, we analyzed the stresses still present in the molecules of the air in the room. And we were able to reconstruct Fergus's last words before he died.
And what were they?
I took off a recording and brought it along so you'd see that your case was hopeless. Here, I'll play it for you.
John, you came back? But why?
There you have it, John. Testamentary evidence by the victim himself to your guilt.
How did you fool him, Randy? How did you make him think it was I?
Oh, John, I don't know what you mean.
You go in for amateur theatrical. It gives you a chance to show off that handsome physique. Easy for you to imitate my voice well enough to fool a deaf old man.
A pretty weak defense, John. You'll really have to do better than that.
He did have evidence that would get you court-martialed, so you killed him. And being a world police officer, it was easy enough to falsify the evidence to make me look guilty. Especially since you assumed charge of the case.
A world police officer falsify evidence? Why, John, you know we are absolutely incorruptible.
Until you start using dream apples. After that, the ordinary rules don't apply. Dream apples remove all moral sense, give delusions of grandeur, and eventually cause hopeless insanity.
They're perfectly harmless, as you'll see when you eat that one I gave you.
I'll never eat it, Randy.
I think you will. It's a 3-week trip back to Earth, and you're getting nothing else to eat or drink. By the time we blast in, you'll want nothing else.
It won't work.
I'll hold out. Against hunger, maybe, but not against thirst. 2 days from now, you'll eat it. After all, why not? If you're going to die, you might as well die happy.
You've constructed a very tight case against me, haven't you?
I think it'll hold up. We have Fergus's dying words and the weapon, which we found in the bushes between the house and your rocket. Your spare rocket control handle.
Which you must have stolen. But one thing you haven't got. That's a motive.
John, by the time we hit Earth, you're going to be a confirmed Dream Apple addict. And Dream Apple addicts don't need motives. Remember?
Randy, give me a drink of water. I'm thirsty.
Oh, awake again? And thirsty? How about a nice, juicy Martian apple?
All right, forget it. I'll die of thirst first. I'll have a hard time explaining how a prisoner came to die of thirst while in your charge.
Now, John, you don't think I'll let a prisoner die. It isn't done in the world police. Oh, no, when you're weak from thirst, I'll just pour a little dream apple juice between your lips and you'll swallow automatically. It's a very easy technique.
I see. You're about 8 times as rotten as I ever imagined.
Trina doesn't think so. We're going to be married after your trial.
You filthy space rat. If I could reach
now,
you...
Easy, old boy, easy. You'll sprain an ankle and that chain won't break. And suppose you could reach me. I can handle you with one hand and you know it.
Maybe, but if I could reach that control board...
What would you do?
Well, that depends on where we are.
I don't mind telling you. At the moment, we're heading directly for Calypso, going to make a brief landing.
A landing? On Calypso? Are you crazy? Calypso is one vast swamp. And the swamp is full of surgeon birds.
I know. Charming fellows, the surgeon birds. 5 feet tall, shaped roughly like human beings, covered with feathers, and each one with eyes all around its head. Each one having 4 arms that end in 10 flexible tentacles. Rather startling to look at, but such interesting tricks they have.
Tricks? Their favorite hobby is to cut up space-wrecked human beings and sew them back together again a new way. Did you read about the poor devil they gave an extra pair of arms to, salvaged from a shipmate who was killed when their scout rocket crashed on Calypso?
Of course. And I actually know a space police officer who fell into their hands. Just for fun, they mixed up his taste and hearing nerves. Now when he eats sirloin steak, he hears music. And when he hears a bird chirping, he tastes chocolate ice cream. He's genius, what?
I know that Earth has warned them any more tricks on space-wrecked rocket men and will bomb their villages. But to actually risk landing among them...
Relax, you worry too much. They promise to be good, and some of them have learned to talk English after a fashion. And they have a new hobby, raising dream apples.
Dream apples on Calypso? So that's where the supply is coming.
Yes, a nice secret little plantation. We're going to load aboard a supply, only, of course, the authorities back home are going to think you were smuggling them in.
Oh, no, Randy.
Oh, yes, Johnny boy. You're sewed up 3 ways from Sunday.
You really have me, don't you?
I think so.
I kept hoping, but I guess I'm licked. Okay, what's the use of struggling? Give me a dream apple. I'll be happy for now anyway.
Now you're being sensible. Here's a nice juicy one. Here, catch. Okay.
Just right.
Hey, if you throw that thing at me...
I'm not going to throw it at you. I'm throwing it at that little button on the board marked full acceleration. Like this.
Wait a minute.
You cut in full blast velocity. I can't move. Acceleration pressure pinning me down. We'll crash on Calypso. I know it. We'll both be killed. Anyway, I'll take you with me to the world. And Trina, one last good turn. So long, Randy. alive. But I can't move. Can't see.
Do not be distressed. It will not hurt long.
Who's that?
It is Rick Real who speaks. I'm chief of the 7th village of Quavery.
A surgeon bird. You are a surgeon bird, aren't you?
It is the name you humans call us.
Oh, no. Go away. I'm dead. I have to be dead. We hit at full acceleration.
The braking rocket acted automatically, cushioned your fall. But you are dying. Accept Rick Real's regrets.
Randy. The other man. What about him?
He is dead. His brain was badly injured.
I see. Now, I'm in bad shape.
Your body is crushed. Rick Real is so sorry, but it will not hurt long. Rick Real will ease the pain. Sleep, Earthman. Sleep. Mac, turn down. Come quickly. The Earthman is waking.
That's a long time. Good Lord. Surgeon birds. 3 of them.
Do not be afraid. You're well. You've slept for 27 Earth days.
7 days? But I was dying. You said I was badly crushed.
We saved you. Please accept apology. Rick Real, very sorry.
Sorry? You saved my life.
We break the law. We operate on you.
As long as you saved my life, I'm not complaining. But what about the other man?
He's dead. We could not save him. The brain, it was injured.
You see, so I'm alive, and Randy is dead. But I'm still framed into a murder charge.
Excuse. We must hurry away. The rocket is landing. We are going to hide. We do not want to be punished.
But I tell you, you won't be punished for saving my life.
You will be angry. So we must hide. We will put you to sleep until your friends come.
But listen, I'm not...
you cannot tell where we hide. So we will not be punished. Apology, please. The temptation was too great. Never before has such an operation been tried.
Look, you don't make sense.
Goodbye. So sorry we saved life. Please accept apology. Sleep now, Earthman. Sleep.
But if you'd only listen to me. If you'd only... honey.
He sleeps. Come, we must go. He'll be angry. I know he will. Earthmen get angry so easily.
Lieutenant Morgan, wake up. Wake up, Lieutenant. Wake up. That's better.
What?
You're coming out of it. How do you feel?
You're Captain Phillips of the World Police. I know you.
Of course you do. You ought to. I'm your superior officer.
My superior officer?
Of course. What's wrong, Randy? Or don't you remember that you're Lieutenant Randy Morgan?
Me? Randy Morgan? Look, are you crazy or am I? I'm John Mallowan.
You're the one who's crazy. Mallowan is dead.
John Mallowan dead? But...
We found his grave outside when we landed an hour ago.
Been searching for your rocket for days, you know.
You found John Mallowan's grave? You're sure?
Of course. We checked. He all right. Badly smashed up from the crash, though.
But it was me who was badly smashed up. I remember. Good Lord. Look at my hands. But these aren't my hands.
You're still groggy, Randy. I understand. It must have been rough.
My face. My hands. They're Randy's.
I better call the doctor and have him give you a sedative, Randy. You're in bad shape. It may be a form of amnesia.
No, wait. It was those surgeon birds. Do you realize what they've done?
From the evidence, operated on you and saved your life. So this time, I guess we won't punish them.
No, but more than that, they... Captain Phillips, could I have just a couple of minutes to pull myself together? Then I'll be all right, I promise you.
Of course, Randy. I'll bring you a drink. You can use one.
Yeah.
I'll be back in a minute.
These hands, Randy's hands. My face. My body. Randy's face. His body. I'm Randy now. Me, John Mallowan. Those surgeon birds, they found my body smashed, his brain damaged. They couldn't resist an experiment. They put my brain in Randy's body. So now I'm Lieutenant Randy Morgan, and John Mallowan, framed into an airtight murder charge, is dead. The case is closed. Well, I guess I've got to be Randy from here on. I'll resign from the World Police.
Feeling better, Randy? Here's some whiskey. It'll do you good.
Well, thanks. Well, I feel better now.
Good. For a minute, I was worried about you. Oh, by the way, there's a call from Earth waiting for you. I brought the field transmitter. You can talk to her here in private if you want.
To her?
I think you know whom I mean. I'll be outside. Well, bring the transmitter along when you're through.
Certainly, sir. Hello?
Oh, Randy. Randy, darling, are you all right?
Trina. Yes, I'm fine.
Oh, I'm so glad, so glad. Poor John. Did he really kill Father?
Yes, Trina. The guilty man has paid for his crime.
And you'll be back soon, Randy?
As fast as the rocket can make it. I have a lot to tell you. Some things to explain to you.
I'll be waiting, darling. But, Randy, they said you were hurt. Had to be operated on. And your voice sounds different. Are you sure you're all right?
Yes, Trina. You'll find that I'm a little changed, but I think you'll like the change. The operation was a great success.
This is the mysterious traveler again. Dear me, that's the most original method of escaping from a false murder charge I ever heard of. To exchange bodies with the man who framed you. Oh, but don't try to make use of it. You'll have to wait 1,000 years before it'll be practical. Of course, if you have the time and don't mind waiting, then you... Oh, you have to get off here. I'm sorry. I'm sure we'll meet again. I take this same train every week at this same time.
You have just heard The Mysterious Traveler. Now you can enjoy other tense and exciting stories of The Mysterious Traveler in the current issue of The Mysterious Traveler magazine, now available. In our cast with Chuck Webster, Gene Carson, Sidney Paul, and Robert Donnelly, with Maurice Tarplin starred in the title role. Music is under the direction of Emerson Buckley, composed by Richard DuPage. All characters in our story were fictitious. Any resemblance to actual persons, a name or otherwise, is purely coincidental. Phil Tonkin speaking. This program came to you from New York.
And was transcribed.
Strange Dr. Weird.
Good evening. Come in, won't you? Why, what's the matter? You seem a bit nervous. Perhaps it would help calm you if I told you a story that I just heard. A strange story about a raven, black as sin, that could talk like a man. I call my story The Dark Wings of Death. And now for my story, The Dark Wings of Death. It begins in the small East Side apartment of Ned and Helen Kennedy, who are having a slight discussion.
Ned, I tell you, if your Uncle Simon won't lend you the money, you'll have to kill him and take it, do you hear?
But look, Helen, if we just wait a little longer, he's so old and feeble, he may die any day now.
We can't wait. That shortage in your accounts will be discovered by next week. We've talked this all over before. Why are you hesitating now? You're afraid?
No, it's not that. It's that pet raven of Uncle's. It makes me so uneasy.
His raven. So that's it. You're afraid of a bird.
Now, wait a minute, Helen. That raven isn't an ordinary bird. The way it watches me with those red eyes and the way it screeches whenever I'm in the room. Well, it almost acts as if it knew I was thinking of killing Uncle Simon.
All right, Ned, go to prison then.
No. Well, I'll do it if I have to. I'm going to try to borrow the money from him first.
You can try, but you won't get it. Now, you'd better get over to that horrible old tenement he lives in with his supper. After he's eaten it and fallen asleep, remember just how he planned everything. Turn on the gas heater, unlight, so it'll look as if it had been blown out and he died in his sleep.
A few minutes later, Ned Kennedy was entering a small, bitterly cold room on the top floor of an ancient tenement building that stood on the very banks of the East River, its windows looking directly down on the cold, gray water. In a bed against the wall, a white-haired old man lay, his face lighting up with malicious amusement as Ned entered. On the head of the bed perched a huge black raven, and as it saw Ned, it flapped its wings angrily.
Quiet, Lucifer. Come on in, Ned. You needn't be afraid of Lucifer.
I brought you some soup and sandwiches for your supper, Uncle Simon. I'll put them on the table here.
Not poisoned, are they, Ned? Not poisoned by that pretty little devil you married?
Uncle, for heaven's sake, don't be absurd. Here, eat your supper before the soup gets cold.
All right, Ned. All right, what's on your mind? You want something, I can tell. Out with it, Ned.
All right, Uncle Simon. I'm $4,000 short in my accounts at the gas company.
Huh?
I've got to replace the money this week or I'll be caught.
And you want me to lend it to you, is that it?
Please, Uncle. You've got to. You wouldn't let your only living relative go to jail, would you?
Aye, of course I would. If you've stolen, you should pay the penalty.
Why, you miserable old skinflint. No. Go, you hit me. Lucifer! No, get away from me. Get away from me. He's trying to get in my eyes.
Take it if I picks on me.
Get him away from me. He's trying to take my eyes out.
Lucifer, take your perch.
Look at my hand. It's bleeding.
Serves you right. Next time I won't stop him. Lucifer will pick your eyes right out of your head. And your soul right out of your body, Ned. Yes. Carry them away to Beelzebub, his master, too.
For heaven's sake, stop that.
Lucifer isn't any ordinary bird. He's a winged demon, straight from Inferno. Yes, and as sure as ever you harm me, Lucifer will snatch you up and fly off to the pit with you.
I said stop it.
Yeah, ask Mrs. O'Rourke, the superintendent's wife downstairs. Many's the night she's seen Lucifer flying away from the window in the darkness, his eyes gleaming with red fire, and his claws glowing with phosphorus, off to pay a visit to the devil, his master.
Oh, that's just nonsense. Now, if you're finished, I'll take the dishes away. You sure you won't lend me the money then, Uncle Simon?
No, I won't. There's $10,000 hidden in the wall here beside my bed, as you know. You shan't have that until I die.
I tell you, there's no other way. If your uncle won't lend you the money, you have to kill him and take it, do you hear?
Good night, Ned. I'm going to sleep now. After they put you in jail, Pleasure, Trina. I'll come and visit you. Now and then.
Oh, skinflint. He's asleep.
When he's asleep, turn on the gas meter, unlighted, so it'll look as if it had been blown out. In an hour, he'll be dead, and it'll look like an accident.
Yes, I have to do it. I have to do it.
Before you take a rest, Dr. Weird, would you tell me the time?
You're not leaving already, are you?
Oh, not yet, Doctor. I just wanted to remind the men of our audience that whatever the hour, they're usually meeting people whose opinions they just naturally value. Calling on business associates, joining a friend at lunch, going to the theater. Those are the times you want to look your best. And nothing counts more in making a good impression than your personal appearance. Naturally, clothes are important. But what's equally important is that every article fits into the picture. That's where Adam hats come in, because the style of an Adam is just right. Made of fine quality all-fur felt in the smartest shade, Adam hats are the last word in fashion. Carefully designed down to the smallest detail and long wearing as well. And Adam is a wise investment in your personal appearance. So if you want to look your best, top your clothes picture with a new Adam hat. Now, Dr. Weird.
And now to continue my story, The Dark Wings of Death. After leaving the gas heater turned on full and unlighted in his uncle's tiny room, Ned had just reached home.
Helen!
Ned, you did it, didn't you? I can tell by your face.
Yes, I had to. He absolutely refused to lend me the money.
I told you he would. You got it anyway, didn't you? Where is it? Let me see it.
Why, I haven't got it yet.
You haven't? Why not?
Well, I couldn't get it until he was dead, of course. Till the room was filled with gas and he's breathed it for a while.
Oh, yes, of course. But I said it'd be easy, and it was, wasn't it?
Yes. Except for the raven. It attacked me. Look at my hand.
Just a scratch. Don't tell me you're still worried about that bird.
Well, suppose it attacks me again when I go back for the money.
Forget it. The raven will be dead, too. The gas will kill it.
Oh, yes, of course.
In any case, I'm going back with you. I'll wait until midnight. He's sure to be dead by then. Oh, and another thing. The room will be full of gas. We'll have to wear masks of some kind.
Masks? Why, I hadn't thought of that.
Well, I did. As ordered, say you have keys to the gas company office. We'll go down now and get 2 of the masks the workmen use when they're repairing leaks in the mains. In the morning, you can replace them and no one will ever know.
It was just after midnight when Ned stood once more in the cold, dark hall outside his uncle's door, Helen at his side.
I don't hear any sound inside.
Of course not. They're both dead. Come on, put on your mask and let's get it over with.
All right. Here, now, this strap goes over your head. Now, breathe through your mouth. You can talk, too. These masks are the latest type.
Talk? Yes, I can, can't I?
There. Now, we're all set. Have your flashlight on.
Mm-hmm.
We mustn't turn on any lights. The least spark would explode the gas and blow us sky high.
I know. Come on.
He's dead.
Of course he is.
Where's the raven?
Oh, what does it matter? Come on. Help me move the bed. You take that in.
All right. Take it easy now. Oh, looks as if he were asleep.
Oh, forget him. Where did he keep the money?
There's a loose board. Listen, the raven. It's still alive.
You can't see. I don't hear it.
There, it's perched on that chair. Flapping its wings. Oh, get away from me. Get away.
Ned, get hold of yourself. There's nothing there. Nothing, I tell you.
There is. It attacked me. Look out. Here it comes again. Trying to get at my eyes. Keep it away. Keep it away.
Ned, stand still. You backed it right up against the window. I tell you, there's nothing there. It's just your imagination.
Coming at my eyes again. I'll stop it. I'll stop it.
Ned, that gun, where's it?
I brought it with me in case of an emergency. I'll stop that raven.
Don't use that gun, you fool. This room is full of gas. The shot would make it explode and kill us both.
Look out. It's coming at me again. Go.
A short time later, Mrs. O'Rourke, wife of the superintendent, was telling the police a strange story.
Just at midnight it was, officer. And I'm standing at the window when up above there's an explosion, fair to wake the dead. And outside my window I see a great flash of light. And what else do you suppose?
You've already told us, Mrs. O'Rourke. You saw a man and a woman blown clear out through the window and into the river down there.
Blown out, nothing. They was flying through the air, holding on to each other. And that raven had his claws in the man's hair and was flying away with them. His eyes blazing fire as he took them off to the devil, his master.
Now, Mrs. O'Rourke, you're letting your imagination run away with you.
I know what I saw.
But you can't have seen that, because we found the raven dead on the floor beside the old man's bed. The gas had killed the two of them, both together.
Strange about Ned and Helen, wasn't it? Their bodies were never recovered from the river. It was almost as if they really had been carried off to someplace not on this earth. But since Lucifer the Raven was found dead beside his master's bed, what do you suppose it was that flew at Ned in the darkness? Birds never have ghosts. Or do they? Oh, you have to go. And perhaps you'll drop in again soon. Just look for the house on the other side of the cemetery. The house of Dr. Weir.